Street Fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War. Event bonus. Get Ken for free. competitors have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free.
Welcome everybody, SWC2020 rolls on. Today we have a very exciting region, Chinese Taipei and Hong Kong coming at you. A lot of really good, strong players once again as we wrap up the APAC qualifiers. It's been an exciting 4 weeks, but man, these are the last 2 days, Peter. I'm a little bit sad about it. It's been incredible so far, but we've still got 2 good days of exciting Summoner's War action coming at you guys.
Yeah, and potentially we have China coming in next week, and that's a region that I know many players are excited for. I personally would be keeping my eye on it because that's a region where many of the powerhouses are, so to say. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun so far. I hope today will be fun too.
I think today could be interesting if some of the things we got to see on our pregame sheet kind of are going to be an indicator. We might get to see a few Mons we haven't really seen before. So I'm kind of hoping that we get to see some unique stuff come out. The meta has been, pretty strong in terms of what we have dubbed that Pentagon, that unholy Pentagon. But we'll see if we get something a little different. You can see here, guys, our overall overview, the format for this whole shebang. The whole prize pool, $210,000 USD. And we get 3 people coming out of the APAC regionals coming up towards the end of October. You can see in each of these regions, first place, 10,000 USD if you win your little division. So far we've done Japan, Korea, and SCA and AU. This time it's Chinese Taipei and Hong Kong. There you can see our 6 players who've qualified so far: Shiki, Tanaka Tsubasa, Charmy, Skit, Two Love, and Zere. So these guys have done really well to get here so far, and I can't wait to see what we got going on today.
And we have what we're seeing here, what's going on here today, right? Come to us, right on tune with Paper Thin here. We have COCOUNT versus Richard coming up first into Mr. Chung, CLEFAIRY, Stan Hong, Mr. Hao, and GAIA. A lot of high RTA players that I'm sure you recognize, especially if you're from their region.
Yeah, these guys are really good. A lot of players who've been here before, who've done it before. So I'm excited to see, what they can do. Players like Stan, for example, has quite a bit of SWC experience, so he could be really interesting. But overall, it's going to be a lot of fun to see where these guys come through and what they do. And, our first matchup today is going to be COCOUNT and Richard. So really excited for that. And real quick, guys, we just want to let you know, as always, the SWC 2020 will be preceded in a non-face-to-face online competition due to COVID-19. So we are doing our best to hold safe and fair competition in an online operating system suitable for each local conditions, along with, careful hygiene control, identification procedures. So long story short, guys, stay home, stay safe, wear a mask, wash your hands, do all those good things, and we can beat this COVID thing. So moving on, first match of the day, COCOUNT, and I know I almost called him Coconut, but that is not his name. COCOUNT here coming up against Richard, and he says his 3 favorite Mons are what you can see there right on the screen: Hathor, Gianna, Vanessa.
What a boring player. Just gonna be honest. My favorite monsters are Hathor, Gianna, Vanessa. What a textbook player we have so far.
Well, yeah, it is pretty textbook to pick those 3 for sure. And all kinds of problems. You can see Sierra in there, a little bit of a Lucia for him. Richard, on the other hand, has some more interesting diversity inside of there. There's a lot of lights inside of that lineup.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit more exciting as we see some mixed responses in draft. As you said, so much light There's Oberon, there's Jaeger, there's Artemil, and a little Nyx to spice things up.
Yeah, so this guy has definitely some options going on, and we'll see exactly what he's going to bring us is Richard. This is Richard's first time here in SWC, so really excited to see what he can do. We've seen a lot of upsets with some new players coming in and doing very well, so let's kick it off. It's going to be COCOUNT versus Richard here. Match number 1, game number 1 between these two players. Last 2 days of the APAC regional qualifiers heading at you. And we got Richard on the right, COCOUNT on the left.
Now, keep in mind a very popular strategy coming into Gianna users, of course, is to pre-ban it. However, interestingly enough, Richard chooses to pre-ban Hathor instead of Gianna, which means that Richard has a plan around Gianna, I would assume?
Yeah, you would think he's got something ready for that Gianna. We'll see exactly what that means. First pick is going to be COCOUNT coming at you, and we'll see exactly what he wants to do for us here. And he's going to take a little bit of time to think this over. And you've got a lot of diversity in what Richard wants to bring. So you're going to steal that Fran, one of Richard's favorite mons, right away.
Yeah, I mean, Fran, we've seen this monster time and time again. Very popular, very consistent. So it does tend to be a safe first pick as we see Richard with the very early investment into Ileana here, as well as Julianne.
Yeah, Julianne is one that he mentioned is one of his top 3 favorite mons. So definitely looking towards him utilizing that mon. And it's interesting passive that it has, Peter.
Yeah, and the passive, it pretty much just prevents him from dying except for Dodds and Oblivion, which would bypass that, which is why you have Ileana to prevent those things from landing onto Julianne. However, we know that COCOUNT is a Gianna user. So Richard, you picked Ileana knowing he's a Gianna user, knowing that you didn't pre-ban it, so he must have something planned here for the next picks.
All right, let's see what Richard wants to do. Only a few more seconds left on the clock there. He is an Artemil player as well, so a lot of strong mons. And then Triana going to make this kind of difficult situation with mons coming back to life even more powerful.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I saw another light unit there. Triana Ileana is a little bit too supportive, a little bit too defensive for me, which is why COCOUNT goes ahead and goes with Sierra and Odin. Very strong nukers on the side of COCOUNT here. He's got a lot of damage, a lot of versatility. His team is pretty much going to be dependent on how well and how fast he can shut down the main carries of Richard's team.
Okay, Richard looking to pick one last mon. Will it be some kind of damage here? It's going to be Nephthys as his final one there.
There we go. That's a support I love to see. Now, this does mean that given the lack of strip on the side of Richard, that Fran is going to be a big no-no for the Nephthys, as well as Gianna kind of being a no-no for the Ileana. So, okay, well, all right then. I'm just thinking about it, right? So it makes sense that the Fran is banned, but Ileana, that's a little bit scary into Gianna, but we'll see how Richard plays it out.
All right, coming up, game number 1 here between COCOUNT and Richard. Richard on the top, COCOUNT on the bottom to kick things off. Up first is going to be that Gianna.
All right, so right now Gianna's not going to be able to do skill 3. He definitely does not want to waste that here. He's probably just going to lay out a bomb and skill 1 for the attack bar. And now we need to pay attention if it is a crit Gianna, because they tend to get a lot of turns.
Okay, we'll see if that is going to come through for the Gianna player. Vigor, now his option, is he going to go for that skill 2, just get the buffs up and going, or is he going to go for that armor break? Armor break it is.
All right, and he lands it onto the wind. However, if we look at the attack bar, Richard is going to cut in, and he's got so much cleanse that it's not going to matter too much here, and here comes the buffs.
Yeah, buffs are up now, and it is Sierra's turn, so bombs galore for COCOUNT to start, but the immunity is going to make that a little bit challenging there, the invincibility, in fact. Ooh, a stun comes down onto Sierra.
Yeah, you definitely want the stuns coming out of Artemil. He's not that impactful early on, so the more stuns you can pick up, the better it is. As we see Julianne most definitely going to be stunning Gianna here so that she cannot skill 3. And right now, Richard, a lot of damage.
Yeah, that is huge onto Gianna there. Half her health gone in one skill. Now it's Odin's turn, really thinking things over. Doesn't really have much to do, and now he's stunned up as well.
Yeah, this Artemil is absolutely premium, as we see Ileana surprisingly not utilizing that skill too. I am a bit mystified. However, we see the damage piling onto Gianna. Her skill 3 is going to get 2 targets here if it does land. And yeah, there we go. That is a very accurate Gianna.
Yeah, that's a good one. A couple big stuns coming through. Now you're starting to focus down that Julianne a bit. Pretty decent damage. Bombs coming down over towards Triana again. And we could potentially set those off, or we can wait. We're going to wait.
Yeah, I have to comment right now on the misplay coming from Richard here, and he's kind of just going to get rewarded by a violent proc to make up for his misplay, because earlier, if he used that skill 2 on Ileana on herself, she wouldn't have gotten stunned up, but as I said, this guy is getting the procs to make up for his mistakes, and now Richard is up 4-3.
Yeah, it is not looking good now for COCOUNT. Still could be a chance. We'll see. Gets the armor break on to Artemil. And unfortunately, there is that counter attack that comes through. And now we're going to try to set that bomb off, get some big damage and the stun. And things starting to maybe turn around a bit for COCOUNT. We'll see if he can get it.
Yeah, he needs to bomb the Triana here, and Triana needs to proc and die to it. That is his best shot here, but he's not even going to try. Why?
Well, he's going for the Ileana there, and he's going to come back and just auto-attack.
Oh, come on. If you bombed her, she would have died to the bomb. I don't understand these misplays coming out. But anyways, Artemil, very premium. He's landed 3 stuns so far, and that's a lot given the fact that we haven't gone that much into the game yet.
Yeah, he's gotten some big ones. That's some big damage there from Odin, but skill 2 is up here. The healing music down and out. So now you've got some immunity as well. Not that matters too much right now. The healing, pretty important here. And over back towards Ileana. Gets a little bit of damage there onto the Sierra. And now you've got Julian. And it's his turn. Gets the stuns, and down goes Sierra.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a Julian free show. Really, I don't know what COCOUNT was doing there. He should have, if he bombed the Triana, things would have been so much different, because Triana could have died to it, and even if she didn't, he could have finished her off, and he could have used Odin's ignore defense onto Ileana or Artemil. Things would have been much better. A lot of misplays from both players here.
Okay, let's see if there's still some kind of turnaround. Finally, that Triana does go down to Odin's massive damage. Shred comes through onto Ileana now. She is armor broken, and now this Artemil going a bit ham. And she can choose to cleanse this, or, yep, she is going to briefing, cleanse it. It's her turn. Again, Neostone Field up, and immunity and shields are in.
Yeah, right now, Julian just going to take over, take out the first life of Odin, meaning he has no more passive to bring himself back. Odin trying desperately to hang on, stealing the buffs, getting those stacks, but he's not getting it. He's just going to boost the turn to Julian, and a few more hits, and this Odin's a goner.
Yeah, here we go, and it's Artemil's turn if he so chooses. Going to heal up just to be safe there, and we're trying to get any damage we can onto this Ileana. Doing a bit, but it isn't enough just yet. She's coming back, hitting a bit of her own. She gets the proc there, briefing. She can go again if she so chooses, and there she goes. Ileana going 3 turns in a row.
Every single time we see this unit, we're just thinking in our head, God, please stop proccing. Please stop moving. She's always moving, always proccing, and she basically enabled Julian this game to get more turns that he wouldn't have gotten, because so much attack bar, right? Because it literally fills it up.
Yeah.
And Julian just took over.
Yeah, that skill 2 is nuts. I mean, the cleanse and the attack bar refill, absolutely so powerful, so much sustain, so many problems that Richard's comp provided there. COCOUNT not able to overcome it.
Yeah, I mean, what was that? I feel like the game was at the hands of misplays here, not necessarily draft or RNG. So I hope COCOUNT, he comes into this one with a refreshed mentality, as this time Richard switching up the ban and says no thank you to the Gianna.
Yeah, no thank you to Gianna. Neftis going to be the ban. COCOUNT just doesn't want to see that at all. It was his post-ban last time. Is he going for that Hathor maybe? He banned it last time, indeed. He is going to pick that up first, steal it away from COCOUNT. You know, Hathor being COCOUNT's absolute favorite mon, so he's going Sierra Fran to start.
Yep, Sierra, Fran, very standard duo, very strong as well. We've seen Fran first pick out of COCOUNT last game. This unit is showing a lot of popularity for him. As we see, Ileana, very popular for Richard, and there's his monster, Jaeger.
Yeah, Jaeger, it was banned in the first game. It's pre-banned, so now we do get to potentially see that Jaeger. If it doesn't get post-banned, we'll find out exactly what COCOUNT wants to do in his following 2 picks. Really taking some time to think about it. And Daphnis is really nice. Can help a lot, that damage in those strips, and then Vigor as well.
Yeah, okay, so we have a lot of damage on the side of COCOUNT. We've seen this last time. It didn't really work out, but the damage leaders have been changed. Daphnis is a much better way to deal with Ileana than Odin is, so I do like that switch up.
Yeah, I think this is a good move here by COCOUNT. Let's see what Richard's counter answer is going to be here. Triana again, really likes her support abilities. Of course, she's so good. And, oh, he thought about it. He is going to punch it in. It is going to be Julianne again.
Yeah, I do like Triana here. She is a very popular unit, often picked into Daphnis for the right reasons. Now, the problem for COCOUNT is that you are seeing the Ileana and you only have one strip on your team. We've seen Vigor, whenever this guy fails, it's usually because he's into immunity and there's not enough strips. So now, if you're going for the Rika, Richard's Ileana is obviously going to get banned. And Richard, knowing that, do you just ban the Rika because you're scared? Or do you have anything else in mind? I think banning Rika's probably the most consistent here.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking as well. I mean, I definitely feel like COCOUNT has to ban that Ileana. I don't think he can get anything going with that there. But yeah, Rika seems to be the popular one. Indeed, it is going to be Rika that goes down along with Ileana here as we get ready for game number 2 again with COCOUNT and Richard. And things looking a little bit different for Richard and just a slight variation here for COCOUNT as well.
Yeah, so that was a very smart ban coming out of Richard. I'm really glad he banned that unit. And now we do have a Vigor into a lack of immunity as well as a Sierra. Things are looking good for COCOUNT here ever since the Rika pick. Armor break was attempted, did not land.
Yeah, did not get it, so he's going to immune up, get that Fairy Blessing going. Attack buff as well there from Fran. She procs into something here. She can just, kind of decide, yeah, might as well put that attack break on the Julianne. No better targets there since the other two are willed. And now it is Hathor's turn. It looks like she probably thinking about a skill 2, Sweet Dreams onto Sierra.
Yeah, and the proc out of that is going to be unfortunate because now he can combine the two skills together, get a monster down with Daphnis skill 3 and the Sierra bomb, but he's not going to land it. And right now, something important to keep in mind that I've noticed was very strange. What? Hello?
Okay.
What?
I guess.
I don't know. It's a concurrent theme right now. Players doing misplays and then getting rewarded for it with violent procs. Like, if you put up the immunity on Triana, she's going to get armor broken by Daphnis. And that could have been a dead Triana there. But right now, things are looking bad for COCOUNT because Richard procced on Triana. And bye-bye Daphnis.
Yeah, that is going to be a Daphnis gone there. Easy peasy. Now we're focusing down the Sierra. Takes some decent damage from Julianne, returning onto the Hathor. She is still armor broken here. What do you do with Vigor? Fran will be going up next. You're just going to go for the buffs. And now it's Fran's turn, and she has, well, yeah, she can just go for that armor attack break, excuse me. Doesn't get it there. Sleep. Time to sleep, everybody except for Vigor because he had immunity.
Yeah, so the reason why this Triana pick worked out so well was because if you notice, COCOUNT's Daphnis was so slow. It was even slower than the enemy Julianne, even with the speed lead. Like, I've never seen a Daphnis that slow, and it wasn't speed tuned either. So right now, COCOUNT, his strategy was taking out a unit on turn 1, but he couldn't do that, and now once again, we are looking at potential Julianne showcase.
Yeah, alright, now we can use the Purify over onto Vigor if Fran so chooses. I think COCOUNT really looking at the attack bars, really thinking these things over. He is going to go for it, and now they're going to keep focusing the Vigor down. The Justice is going to come through. Vigor gets critted, and Vigor goes down.
Alright, things are looking very grim. There's not really a high chance on Sierra to solo carry this. You can believe, but the chances are so slim right now. As Triana is going to just be there, allow the bombs to not be that big of a threat, and that could be a dead Sierra. No, with the sliver of HP.
Just barely getting through by the hair on her chin there. Well, she probably doesn't have hair on her chin. I have hair on my chin. That's just the old the fairy tale reference there. Okay, anyway, back over to Peter just gave me the absolute most look of disgusting. Sierra is getting focused down now. This is not looking good for COCOUNT. He's holding on to some hope that Sierra can go hog wild and get some good procs and other things, but right now, it's not looking great.
Yeah, I mean, one Justice out of the Jaeger. Sierra's going to go down, and COCOUNT is going to have to concede here.
Yeah, so that is a quick 2-0 for Richard. So once again, a new player comes through in the first game. This has happened every week, basically, here in the APAC regional qualifiers, where somebody has come through and taken down, a veteran player, a player who's been here before. It's their first time in SWC. We saw it with Shiki in Japan, and then now we're seeing it here with Richard again. Really interesting, fascinating stuff, and COCOUNT just not able to adjust, especially to some of these these light mons that that Richard has. He's really got quite a monster box in there.
Yeah, I mean, we saw COCOUNT profile before we got into the match, right? And he said he likes Vanessa, Gianna Hathor. And when you have a player like that, you assume they're going to play with like CC, AoE type of units, but he tried really hard to go for single target damage, and Triana was always there and she did too much.
Yeah, she's really brutal, and there's so much revive potential on the side of Richard as well, so even if you get one down, they just tend to come back up. It's just like cockroaches. You kill a few and they just keep coming on back, man. It's just, they're hard to get rid of. So good win here for Richard. Excellent play in this first round for sure. So congratulations to him. He moves on. Now, again, if you're a COCOUNT fan, he gets another chance tomorrow. Don't worry, it's not over. Just like Skit, he has a chance to come through, run the gauntlet tomorrow, and still qualify for the APAC Regional. So that was pretty good. Next up, guys, MR.CHUNG and CLEFAIRY. And so that's going to be another really exciting matchup, as this one was a pretty quick 2-0 here. Richard did very well. So stay tuned. Codes, great games, really interesting stuff. We'll be back soon with SWC 2020.
Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War. Event bonus. Get Ken for free. Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War. Event bonus. Get Ken for free.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Summoner's War World Championship 2020. This is still some preliminary action going on for you, Chinese Taipei and Hong Kong. It's day number 1. And up next is MR.CHUNG versus CLEFAIRY. MR.CHUNG, liking some of these more traditional kind of style that we've seen a lot of. He has a Gianna, he likes Hathor, Ganymede, Sierra. Not too surprising there. Verd in there as one of his top 5 favorites as well.
Wow, Verdahal is the favorite. That is very interesting because Verdahal, this is a very strong unit and really hard carries games, but he has some weaknesses, very exploitable, so I'm very interested to see how he utilizes that.
All right, CLEFAIRY has a lot of really interesting mons available. You can see he has a Yunhong. He likes the Molong. He likes Perna even. We haven't seen Perna yet, I don't think, in these APAC regionals in any of them. So going to be interesting to see if we finally get to see that Fire Phoenix come through. But he does say that some of his favorite mons are the Dark Oracle, which is Gianna, Artemil, and Leona. I don't know if he has those or not. We've been baited before by some of these players' favorite picks if they actually have these mons or not. We'll see exactly what CLEFAIRY is going to bring for us.
Yeah, he actually wrote in here this time for you. By the way, I don't have any of them.
All right, good. He's nice. He did write that in there for me. That is nice of him. I appreciate that. But he does have some strong mons. Nonetheless, MR.CHUNG versus CLEFAIRY coming at you. Match number 2 of the day. First game between these two players. Winner moves on to face Richard in the next round. Loser has to face COCOUNT at the beginning tomorrow. So big matchup here. And let's see exactly what our pre-bans are going to be. It is going to be the Yunhong and the Gianna.
Yeah, so do keep in mind CLEFAIRY's team comp that we saw on the screen. That was pretty much like the Exodia team comp back in 2018. That was when if you had those monsters, as long as your runes are not literally all blue tier, you pretty much automatically get G3, maybe even Legend. That was BD's comp when he won. So having that Yunhong taken away is going to hurt him a lot here. However, Hathor's going to be a very strong pickup. And MR.CHUNG, knowing that CLEFAIRY likes to do those type of teams, he takes the Ganymede away with the Velajewel.
Yeah, coming through with the Velajewel for the immunity and the cleanse, it looks like. And next up is going to be our guy CLEFAIRY here on the right. It's a little hard to read their names, but I think I looked at his name and he has CLEFAIRY up there. Yes. Yeah, so okay, now it's gonna be a little easier to read. Sierra and Barbara going to be the next pickups here for CLEFAIRY. We've seen a lot of Barbara across all the regions recently. She's so good. The strip, the speed ups, and now we go over to Vigor. Speaking of speed ups, and we'll see exactly what else we've got going on here for Mr. Chung.
All right, very interesting picks out of Mr. Chung here. I'm not too sure about his draft right now. It seems a little bit risky because the only fast unit here on the side is going to be the Ethna, right? And Ethna, without any speed leader so far, that's going to get outsped by Sierra, Chiwu, Barbara. So right now, Mr. Chung's team comp is heavily depending on VelaJewel. Does it get through? And if it does, is it going to be effective against all the CC coming out? As we see, CLEFAIRY says, I got an Alexandra, and she is just does a lot of damage.
Yeah, for sure. First time we are seeing that Dark Unicorn Alexandra in a while. And then the final pick here, Monkey time for Mr. Chung.
Yeah, the Monkey is going to be very strong into no immunity on the side of CLEFAIRY, pretty much acting as a Rika almost. But what I don't understand is how does Hathor and Alexandra synergize? That's what I'm struggling to understand here, because Alexandra, you want her to be transforming, you want her to be using skill 2, that's her main strength. But if you're trying to sleep things with Hathor, where's the synergy at?
Good question. We'll see how it plays out. It is going to be Etna and Chiwu being banned out here. And this one should be interesting. Getting to see that TPE&HK, hoping I pronounced that one right, for that light monkey. Barbara gets to start. Super fast are those beast riders. Then we are over to Hathor, but there are wills here. Oh, gets the strip and the sleep, though, onto the light monkey.
So the main thing he wants here is to bomb the thing. He just goes ahead and utilizes skill 3, realizing that VelaJewel's skill 3 is going to come up anyways. I think that was a good move, because if this bomb doesn't kill, then that guy could have went and slept the whole team. Very smart plays coming out of CLEFAIRY. However, the speed buff does mean that Mr. Chung is now going to cut ahead of Alexandra. And Alexandra is going to have to pull out some massive DPS here to try to take out the monkey, because his health is fairly high for a unit, especially that's going to be built tanky, as he considers his options, and he goes for the shield. Interesting.
Yeah, goes for the safe play. We're going to get the immunity from the VelaJewel. Over to TPE&HK, gets the AoE sleep onto everyone there, and now you have some options for Mr. Chung. Now you have bought yourself that time you needed.
Yeah, so right now, Mr. Chung is in a fairly comfortable position because CLEFAIRY did not manage to take out the light monkey before that skill 3 came out, as Alexandra taking a huge chunk of damage with the armor break on her. Now do keep in mind, the fact that light monkey missed attack speed slow on 3 units here is going to be huge, because he really wants those to be landing. It's almost like an extra turn of CC as he tries again. No sleep, no attack speed slow.
Yeah, not what he was looking for sure. Now Alexandra getting dangerously low as we start to focus that light monkey down, and the return fire onto Alexandra. Alexandra goes down with a big hit from VelaJewel. Stun coming through. Gonna get everybody, but Barbara goes for the other one and gets her too.
Yeah, this monkey, ever since it was not taken down, it is going absolutely nuts. Sierra cannot even get anything done as the resist is too strong on the Monkey King, and the monkey is stunning left and right. He can't land the attack speed slow, but he sure as hell got a lot of stuns.
Yeah, absolutely he does. Now Hathor only the skill 1 up. You do get the attack decrease onto the monkey at least. You got that going for you, which is nice. And it procs. Here comes the net, and there's the sleep.
That's actually disgusting, man. I have no other way to put it. That's straight up gross.
Yeah, it was big. I mean, such a huge moment there for Mr. Chung. What a proc he gets. They're going to ventilate the VelaJewel so you can get the Sanctuary going. Immunity is up, and now you're just trying desperately to get this monkey down.
Yeah, I didn't count the exact full times on VelaJewel, so I'm a little surprised by this, the choice of ventilate onto VelaJewel here. However, Barbara, massive damage.
She hit like a truck there. Oh my gosh. Taking down Kition and getting bigger down to half health. And that's big. That's another big hit there. Of course, she's in that Beast Rider form, but she's going to finish it down and get another proc.
Oh man, the proc on Barbara is huge. He is getting so much out of that passive right now. The damage increase on the Beast Rider. And now he is in for a world of trouble here. He needs to keep immunity up at all costs because one Sierra Bomb is all it takes to lose.
Yeah, and you can see that's exactly what he's doing. He ventilates, he gets it up, and he gets a proc as well. So here comes the punishment. Decent damage there. Dots are down. Sierra isn't able to use that bomb just yet, but she gets a proc for herself as well. Over towards Hathor. She has the skill too. She gets stripped. She goes for it and gets it.
Yeah, that proc from VeloJoel was so lucky because there it would have been even almost considerable to try to finish off Sierra because what would have happened is Hathor had skill 2 up, that could be followed up into a Sierra Bomb, VeloJoel could have died, and Hathor versus Gani 1v1, Hathor could have won because she had such a health advantage, but VeloJoel getting that proc made it so that Sierra died before getting a bomb off, and now, of course, when you have VeloJoel, Gani versus Hathor, VeloJoel's gonna win.
Yeah, looking good right now for Mr. Chung. Hoping for some kind of miracle is CLEFAIRY. And Mr. Chung gonna go for that Sanctuary just to be better safe than sorry here. And he hits a proc anyway, right into the punish. Oh my god, another one. That finishes the job. It is going to be Mr. Chung taking game number 1.
So things looked a little bit dicey there with the Barbara, right? Once she got out of the Beast Rider form, she was doing too much damage, getting the procs. We saw Vigor pretty much get 2-shotted. Light Monkey get 1-shotted because he was so low. But he was able to pull it through with the VeloJoel. Very close moment there, but the procs came in clutch.
Yeah, it was a good back and forth there between those two players. There were moments where I felt like either of them could win for sure. So, good stuff in that first game. Coming through to the second game, Mr. Chung and CLEFAIRY going to have to readjust their bans, and this time it's going to be Barbara and Hathor being banned out.
Yeah, I'm almost surprised that the Light Monkey didn't get pre-banned here because of how disgusting that unit was last game. I feel like if it was almost any other unit in the spot of Monkey there, then Mr. Chung would have lost.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think you're very right. I was expecting the Light Monkey ban. Kitian Desheng is very good. Vanessa and Mo Long going to be picked up here for CLEFAIRY. We saw he really likes that Mo Long. Of course, that so powerful with that skill 3. And let's see what Mr. Chung is going to follow up with. Vigor and Tyrannus this time.
Yep, Tyrannus is a very good answer to Mo Long. Almost surprised that CLEFAIRY didn't take it with the Mo Long because that was a very dominant strategy. When you want to go for the Mo Long snipe, you know Tyrannus is one of your biggest enemies, so these players do tend to pick it with the Mo Long. As now Alexandra showing up on the field again. We haven't really got to see much from this unit in game 1, so I hope we do see a opportunity for it to do massive things as we see Light Monkey once again, the hard carry we've seen last time with Gianna.
Yeah, absolutely. It's looking really interesting this time around. And I think another reason you might pick Tyrannus is to keep it away from Vanessa, because that combo that those two can pull off when they're just keeping each other alive. Molly going to be the last pick here for CLEFAIRY. That tremendous support ability that she brings to you, that wonderful passive with the glancing. So good.
Yeah, I do wonder a bit, though, if that extra sustain was necessary here. I don't feel like Mr. Chung's strategy is necessarily trying to go for a lot of damage that requires it to land within that turn, within these specific skills, because his main nuke here is going to be Tyrannus skill 2 as well as Vigor, which do consistent output of damage. And now Alexandra getting Respect banned out because there's no immunity on the side of Mr. Chung. This does mean Mo Long Yunhung combo is up, but how effective is it going to be into Gani Tyrannus?
All right, let's find out. Game number 2. Game number 1 went to Mr. Chung on the bottom, CLEFAIRY on the top. It's going to be Vigor up first. And let's see what he wants to do. Could just go for the buffs or could try to get... Yep, he's just going to go for the buffs here first. Over to Ganymede. And you have a couple options, I guess, but nothing really great here for Ganymede. No real great target for his skill 3. So indeed, he's just going to skill 1 on the Molly.
Yeah, right now he's not really getting much value out of his units because there's so much immunity on the side of CLEFAIRY. He does get a stun, he gets a proc, but unfortunately it's not going to pay off like it did in game 1 with all those stuns right now as Mo Long, he has a clear opportunity. He's going for the monkey, and Yunhung just going to be able to boost it back up with full HP, getting that extra turns in.
Yeah, that combo is so brutal here. Now it is the Dragon Dance that comes through, does get the stun onto the monkey, but Tyrannus here, it is his turn now.
Yeah, I mean, he can choose to go for the Soul Protect, but the problem is Yeonhung has a strip, so if that strips it away, it would have been unfortunate, but the resist on this monkey coming in clutch again.
Yeah, huge resist there. Still 1 HP for it, so doesn't get taken down. He did get the proc here for Yeonhung. She goes, and everybody's coming back up here. Molly's turn right now for CLEFAIRY, and she can go for strip, and she gets a little bit there, and now it's the Seal of Fire. Trying to open up the door, does get the armor break.
Yeah, now the problem is you've exhausted your main damage on Molong. Molong is a type of unit where you really rely on him to proc as much as possible because skill 3 is his main usage, and skill 2, that's not a very consistent skill anymore. So given that you're out of everything, and if you're on the side of Mr. Chung, he's got infinite revives through Ganymede and TARDIS, aren't you kind of just stuck in a very unfavorable situation right now?
Looks like that could be the case, definitely, for Mr. Chung. Let's see if CLEFAIRY has some kind of tricks up his sleeve to get out of it. Nothing really doing here, just some poke damage back and forth. Now, we do have that soul protection there. So, back up is Kitian, and back over to Ganymede. Skill 2 available there if he so chooses to use it. Indeed, does reset the cooldowns on his Tyrannus. And there you go, the big slowdowns and sleeps coming through for the monkey.
Yeah, that's huge. The AoE sleep, or not sleep, but attack speed slow with the sleep. It's gonna just prevent anything from moving really anytime soon. And now Mr. Chung gonna just run circles around right now. The Vanessa's passive is down, so with the stun connecting, Yeonhung is really struggling to get that skill 3. Molong procs are not gonna matter too much because once Yeonhung goes down, things are going to look much worse for CLEFAIRY.
Yeah, might as well put that Soul Protect back up on the monkey. Some more damage being done here, trying to focus this Yeonhung down. Indeed, it is going to be her again. She does get healed by the Molly. Now back over to Kitian Desheng.
Might as well stun.
Yep, might as well go for it. Oh, only gets it on the Vanessa there.
Yep, and he's constantly getting the turns, the procs. However, he... Oh my gosh! He's not even going for the kill on Yeonhung. He knows that the cooldowns are not up yet. Very ballsy move, but I like here's a Reckless Assault. But what can it do when you have Ganny TARDIS? It's just going to come back.
Yeah, it's nothing to be concerned about, that's for sure. And then Molong takes a bunch of damage there from himself, and he just gets worked down.
Didn't Vanessa get reset? I don't know why he's not killing Yeonhung.
Yeah, I thought he should have. I thought he was
her?
going to there.
I mean, if he didn't reset Vanessa, then fair enough. But
Right.
I feel like I saw her get reset. I don't know if it's my eyes playing tricks on him.
Could be. He does take down the Molong here. So I think things are going well enough for Mr. Chung that it might not be the end of the world. That shield is there to absorb the damage. You're going to ventilate the Tyrannus, and so you can bring Kitian Desheng back as we focus this down. Here's Vigor to speed up his team once again. Yeah, the cooldowns are down here for her. So maybe I guess he just wanted to get Molong first and then the Yeonhung?
Whatever the case, maybe we'll get a replay or I don't know, whatever happens. But we do know for sure right now that Mr. Chung has a firm reign over the match, and we see CLEFAIRY really trying his hardest to take out this TARDIS. However, the armor break connecting is always a good thing, but does it really matter when we have Ganny to constantly ventilate, and when it gets ventilated, TARDIS also gets the passive, meaning he's going to keep reviving himself.
Yeah, it's just nuts, that combo between those two. And back onto the focus on the Yeonhung Dao. Do good damage there from that skill 2. And over to the net. It comes through, gets the slows, and gets the sleeps all around.
Yeah, Monkey doing monkey things again like we saw, and we see really CLEFAIRY paying for his mistakes, because I feel like in this current meta, when you're leaving Ganny up for the enemy especially, you can't just go Molong Vanessa. If you want to open up into Molong, you have to go Molong TARDIS. Or what if you just hide the Molong, save it for later, and you take Vanessa TARDIS first? You know, that works out too. So I feel like this was a big oversight by CLEFAIRY on the drafting phase.
Yeah, I think Mr. Chung really pulling through here with that Tyrannus pick. You know, it combos well with the Ganny, and like you just really mentioned very well, it steals it away from CLEFAIRY. So it is going to be Mr. Chung winning game number 2 and the match. So he will move on to face Richard later on today. CLEFAIRY moves over to the losers bracket to face COCOUNT tomorrow. But Mr. Chung, even with all those great mons that we saw from CLEFAIRY, he just very consistent, very smart play from him.
Yeah, I guess CLEFAIRY's been playing too much Pokemon lately, trying to catch those CLEFAIRYs. I can tell, you know, he's gotten a bit rusty because I checked his stats as well, and last season, right, so he was 63rd place in Season 12, but in Season 13 he was 1,245, and that means he hasn't really been playing RTA much last season. And we saw the rust there basically. His comps didn't work out.
Yeah, I think that's a good point there. And MR.CHUNG, as you can see on your screen, does win it in a 2-0 over CLEFAIRY. So moving forward, I think CLEFAIRY is going to have to kind of readjust here, and he's got a day to think about it at least. He can watch some games and come through tomorrow. Still a chance for him, of course, but yeah, right now it's looking really good for a couple of these players. Richard and MR.CHUNG 2-0ing their opponents to start the day. Just very, very good drafting, very, very good play. I think MR.CHUNG pretty well handled his situations. That light monkey dude, Kitian Desheng, is nuts.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time we saw that unit getting its full potential out, and it was getting the procs, the stuns, and we saw how it's basically like a Rika without damage, the more boring version. The one that's more focused around CC, you never move kind of thing.
It's just nuts once it gets going. It's so challenging to deal with. So, we are going to take a break, guys. Next up is Stan versus Hong. That's Hong, not Hong KFC. We'll be back soon with SWC 2020.
Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War. Event bonus. Get Ken for free. Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Even bonus. Get Ken for free.
Welcome back, everyone, to SWC 2020 Chinese Taipei and Hong Kong preliminaries. Day number 1 back again. Next up is going to be Stan versus Hong. Stan, a veteran here of SWC, a very, very powerful player there. You can see some of his favorite mons. We do see the Leona in there. We do see the Gianna. He's another one riding around with those. And speaking of things he likes to ride on, he likes that Wind Beast Hunter Savannah a lot.
Yeah, I mean, everyone that pulls her instantly starts using her for the right reasons. She is absolutely powerful. We know how strong she is with that skill too once the armor break connects. Her only weakness is really like maybe fire heavy, vertical, or mainly Leo.
Yeah, absolutely. Leo is a really, really good stopper towards Savannah. I definitely avoid the Leos on the arena whenever I
you
see
told me
them.
about that.
There's no doubt about that. Over to Hong, Artemil, Ragdoll, some biggins in here. There's Cecilia. We haven't seen her yet. Will she come out? We'll see. Hathor, Sierra, lots of other stuff. Fusa, Verdile. So a lot of good picks here for Hong available.
Yeah, I know it's like almost like an inside joke in the community where if you go into the Guardian 3 range, you finally meet the golems, the giants with the Artemil Ragdoll bullying people around. Because this combo has been historically super strong, and it has been noted as the most powerful light dart combo back in the days. And now with the nerfs here and there, meta shifting, it may not be as dominant, but it's still very powerful. So Stan definitely going to be pre-banning around those units, I would assume.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what we're all expecting here from Stan on the left and Hong on the right, but it's actually going to be Sierra and Ganymede as our first bans here. So what does Stan have up his sleeve?
Well, it says that, you know, something that he wants to show off as a player is that he has almost every OP monster. That's literally what he wrote down. So he has an arsenal of options available at his side.
Okay, first pick is going to be Hathor for Hong. Over to Stan now. And what is going to be the response, as he is really, really thinking this one over now. And I'm really curious. So Vanessa Fran, so they're good. I don't know if they're the super OP ones, but they're quite good, of course.
Yeah, this could be a great opener into a potential Leona pick because Leona is a very popular unit that is used against the Art of Ragdoll combo, and Vanessa Fran being there are going to be very nice supports for her as we see the Barbara pick up early.
Yeah, Barbara is very, very early here. Stan, what is going to be his counter ideas? The Molly in there as well, as she is very, very popular. You can see Fran there with a 56.8 win percent. So trying to pair that Tyrannus up with Vanessa is what Stan is thinking, and then a Velajewel on the bottom.
Yeah, so he's made very heavy, investment into dealing with the Barbara. That's what the Tyrannus is there for. Velajewel, he's a great unit into Hathor, which is why we are seeing a Juno in response. I do really like the Juno here. There's not too much damage on the side of Stan to deal with the Juno pick, and there's 3 units that are going to be putting up heavy buffs. So very, very powerful pick there. Gonna be combo with Artemiel, 83.3%.
Yeah, he's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Pretty good.
When he gets through.
Sounds good to me.
He's pretty good. And there's that Leona that you were thinking about earlier. Saving it for last here is Stan. It's going to be instantly banned out. And he doesn't like that Juno, like you mentioned. There just wasn't a lot he had available to deal with her.
Yeah, I like the ban on Juno there a lot. She was looking like a very strong unit, almost too strong for Stan to deal with. And we did see the Leona getting banned out, of course, because if you're Hong, you're hella scared of her.
Absolutely. You know, my thought coming into this as we get the immunities, you got double immunity here for Stan. I wonder if there's just the passives are just going to be super strong here for Hong. Like, is he just going to be able to hold on for forever based on that? And the later this gets, of course, the worse, the worse Artemiel is.
Oh, well, that is going to depend on the armor break coming out of Vanessa, because that is really going to determine how much damage this Velajewel and Tyrannus is going to be outputting. As we see Hathor, she missed the strip. That is pretty huge. And Barbara not even attempting the strip. Now, Vanessa, this is your chance. And he, wow, lands it on water through glancing, not even working.
Wow, that is a crazy, crazy thing. The violent proc here for Tyrannus. He comes through with the Artemiel passive there. Artemiel's turn, going to heal Barbara back on up now. And now you do have that Purify available. You are going to use it onto Vanessa. You do have the Sanctuary. Going to go for it from Velajewel. Put those immunities back up, and you just a glancing it again onto Barbara. Windblow does big damage onto Barbara, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Barbara is going to be well ruined enough that she does not go down to that. We saw the glancing on Molly, which is why the skill 2, skill 1 was not enough to kill earlier. And now Barbara just going to get that skill 3 off. Give team the attack bar they need. Molly's going to be able to cleanse here, and Artemiel, he's got to try to stun more units.
Yeah, so just barely surviving, and that's a big deal there for that Barbara. Doesn't get that stun, does get the attack break onto Barbara, so that's a nice piece of work. It's an additional turn here for Velajewel, trying to strip that shield off, gets it. Now over to Hathor. She does have skill 3, but not wanting to use it just yet.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he didn't try to strip Fran with the Artemiel, because if that immunity went down, then he could have tried to slip the Velajewel here, or do it the other way around, try to strip the Velajewel with the Artemiel. I feel like that would have been a much better option than just trying to stun Tyrannus, as now we see damages being returned back and forth. The only difference is Stan's got a Tyrannus and Hong does not.
This Tyrannus is proccing all over the place. He's so weak, and he does so much damage too, and now we're trying to get the Molly strip. She gets a proc. She doesn't get any strips off of that. Now we're going to purify the Vanessa as well. Back over to Velajewel. Punishment comes down, and we do have Barbara down into her rider form.
Yep, right now Artemiel getting a stun. It's not going to pay off too much here because Hathor's got to sleep anyways. It's going to bring everything down. However, he misses Tyrannus, which is not what he wanted. And now he is just going to poke down at the Tyrannus here. Things are not really looking the best for Hong right now because he needs to strip that off of Vanessa so that he can kill her first.
Yeah, absolutely. He's looking to do that. Okay, and just some damage. You get the stun on the Barbara at least. Over to Artemiel. His turn to come through. Gets a stun onto Vanessa.
Yeah, so many stuns onto this Vanessa here. As we see Velajewel, that is going to be a fantastic proc because Velajewel never wants to be without immunity. That man is not a fan of being naked.
For sure he's not. And now trying to focus this Tyrannus down. He is so strong. We do have the skill 2. Sweet Dream's going to be used onto Fran. Puts her to sleep and gets the strip as well. some return damage, trying to get this Barbara off the board, but it is so difficult with all these passives and all this healing.
Wow.
It is just impossible to take her down.
Yeah, the Molly just providing just enough sustain to constantly bring Barbara back to a really comfortable position. And I must give Hong credits on his runes on this Barbara because it's tanky enough that San is having so much trouble with it throughout the whole entire game.
Yeah, he's throwing everything in the kitchen sink at it, and it just isn't going down. Now, you have the Fairy Blessing up, so you can get the attack buffs and the immunity, and you get a proc, you can purify, and you get that stun off of the Tyrannus. Go through on the Barbara, she's still alive, 1 HP.
Yeah, at least what's going for the side of Stan is that he's been getting incredibly lucky because he's been landing every single crit from fire onto the water Barbara. Like, he's got some hidden Theomar's passive going on right now, and the Fran has been proccing very consistently as we see the shield super duper heavy, just gonna keep that Barbara up all the time, and Artemiel's just gonna make full usage of all the time that Barbara is buying.
Finally, that Barbara goes down. It took a long time. This Fran, very, very weak now. Artemiel is going to go for the finish, and he's going to get it. Hathor does have all of her abilities up. She's going to go for that delayed promise. She wants to get the sleep. She gets it on Velajul.
Yeah, so right now he's bringing back the Fran so that he can try to sustain his way back. The proc is usually nice when you got a defense buffed harness with the big damage coming out. However, the sustain is going to be there, and now whether this Hathor sleeps the Fran or not is going to be a pretty deciding factor in whether Stan has a chance of coming back or not. No proc means the Fran's gonna die.
Yep, Fran is down, so now you gotta hope that somehow this Tyrannus can hold on long enough. Velajul still asleep, as all of the Mons here for Hong can continue to focus down the Tyrannus, get that attack break even to make matters worse here for him. Goes for the wind blow, gets some decent damage onto the Hathor at least, but still, the sustain here for Hong is insane.
Yeah, I mean, what COCOUNT needs to do right now is when they get that replay reel back up, they need to put a counter for the amount of times that Artemiel has been able to get a revenge off, you know, utilizing that passive. Because now we've come to a late game, and throughout it all, Artemiel was getting so much free damage that Stan right now, he's looking so rough here as another counter from Artemiel, and that is going to be a dead Velajul.
Brutal, brutal, brutal is Artemiel. Absolutely wrecking Stan's day, as it is going to be game number 1 going over to Hong. And it was just too much. I mean, the passives from Molly and Artemiel put together, it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like, to be honest, Hong didn't even need to play the game because he was just sitting there, and we had Stan. He was trying his hardest to punch the heck out of Hong, but Hong is just there. His body's made out of freaking iron, and it's only Stan that's getting his fists hurt. And
that Barbara, she's made out of iron too, man. She just would not die, no matter what. And like you mentioned, even though Stan was getting, you know, good crits, good lucky procs, it still wasn't enough. All right, this time it is going to be a Ragdoll ban from Stan and a Gianna ban from Hong. So switching up the bans quite a bit, going for those Dark Nat 5s this time around. So kind of interesting that we're seeing them not ban those out in the first one. But first pick this time is going to be Sierra from Stan. He banned her out. Now he wants to pick her first. Over to Hong, it's going to be Fran and Vanessa.
Yeah, we've seen this last time coming out of Stan. It is a very safe starting lineup. Now, given that you don't go into double supports after this, it can be a very effective starting 2 picks, as we see Hathor and Chiwoo coming out of Stan. This is, I believe, more according to the style that Stan plays. So this is going to work out a lot better for him here, as he has the Hathor on his side rather than going against, as we see Celia coming out for the first time.
Yep, she is here, and we'll see what we can do with that. It is going to be Stan now, considering his counter picks. Juno again here for Hong. Really likes her, as we've seen her be extremely powerful throughout the APAC regionals. All of these qualifiers, she basically was almost undefeated coming into this. Vigor and Verdaheil going to be the last ones here.
Yeah, do keep in mind though that this time Juno is not as effective, because last game there were so many buffers that have really long cooldowns, but this time there's only Vigor and his skill 2 is not that long of a cooldown. And also Celia, she was not a very powerful pick at all until Vigor showed up, because to fully utilize her passive, you want the opponents to have buffs on their side. And now, given that Vigor has made it through, if Stan goes for that skill 2, it could backfire on him. As we see Celia, of course, with that base speed, gonna be taking the first turn with that 33% speed leader. He managed to strip the will on Hathor and get another sleep onto Chiwoo, and now he's got the turn advantage.
Yeah, big time turn advantage. He's thinking about exactly what he wants to do with the Fran. He's actually going to go for the attack break onto Chiwoo there. And here comes the armor break. It does land onto Vanessa. Now Verdahile up, gets some speed going for his team, some decent damage into that Vanessa as well. The armor break helping with that, of course. Over to Juno, just going to chip down at this Chiwoo a bit. Going to get the armor break onto him now, though.
Yeah, the proc is going to come in, but I really don't know what Hong is doing. I'm genuinely confused by this. I feel like he didn't read the attack bar properly, because what I saw was that the Hathor is actually going to move at, before the Chiwoo. So the reason why he didn't use skill 3 on Fran there was because he wanted to kind of mind game and let Chiwoo do skill 3 first, but like when she was moving after Hathor, why do that? And you got an armor break now that wouldn't have landed if you went for the skill 3 with Fran. I feel like Hong completely threw the match.
Okay, he's still got a chance. Maybe. We'll see. It's not going well for him, though, for sure.
I don't know about the chance, to be honest with you. I don't know. I think that's a little bit pushing it.
Okay, maybe not, but we'll try. You do get the resistance there from Fran, and now it is Stan just trying to break her down. Are we going to get the armor break? Indeed we do. Big damage coming from the Vigor. He gets a proc as well, so he's going to use that skill 2. Now over to Verd. Noble Agreement comes down. It does good damage, and Fran is down now as well.
Yeah, I mean, this was really huge misplay out of Hong. I didn't really like his draft either. I know the Celia was there because that's one of his fastest units and he wanted to contest in speed, but the rest of his team doesn't even synergize with the idea of contesting speed, because you saw Hong, he got the ideal outcome with the Celia, but there was no follow-up. So why Celia? And you even picked her when the opponent had 0 buffs. So I feel like Hong right now needs to just use up this time to make a better draft, man.
Yeah, okay, I like what you're thinking there. Yeah, absolutely. So Stan is going to take the second game here from Hong. So we are going into a deciding game number 3. Find out which one of these players will move on and which one will be starting out tomorrow against either the loser of Hao and GAIA. So yeah, I think you're absolutely right. You know, Celia is, you know, kind of this weird fast stripper, and yeah, there was no buffs and Vigor was picked after that. It is really interesting to think about there. We'll see how Hong is going to readjust. What are our bans going to be this time around? It is going to be Sierra and Gani again.
Yeah, one interesting thing to keep in mind though is we are not seeing the Holy Pentagon that we were so accustomed to seeing last week, because Oki was literally picked every single game almost, and this time there's no Oki anywhere to be seen. I do honestly feel though that Oki actually would have been a viable pick for Hong there instead of Juno and whatnot that he did after the Celia pick. So we have Hong now. Hathor first pick worked out great for him in match 1. He's back on his comfort zone. That unit is going to be huge for him as we see a very unique strategy coming out of Stan. This used to be very popular, very strong. It did drop because the meta changed. However, it can still work, especially given that artifacts allow this Molong and John to be so much tankier. And now, do keep in mind that John is actually a pretty scary CC threat. So if Hong doesn't have really an immunity draft like right now, he is going to be wary of that unit, which is why he picked the Sekhmet to reset it.
Yeah, Sekhmet, it can really cause problems for both of those, I feel like.
Yep.
It's really annoying. You need those other skills up for John and Molong. And you're also keeping Sekhmet out of the hands of Stan to counter Tyrannus.
Wow.
So I really like this. Jameyer, what else?
That's another thing we really like, because Jameyer is going to be pretty much a counter to the Sekhmet, because they're, you know, he sees the reset as a big threat, as you mentioned. That's why he's saying, you want to reset? Well, I got a dragon. And now he's, for some reason, slots in.
I can reset your reset, bro.
Yeah. But I just don't understand this Leona coming out. I mean, Leona's a very strong unit, and it can work very good if Segment's armor break doesn't get through, as we see a very supportive lineup. What is this, Hong? What is this?
And the last one's going to be ichardS here from Stan. So Stan is just going to, you know, blow things up, potentially. We'll see exactly what the post bans are going to be. Yeah.
It has to be ichardS, no? I feel like that's the biggest shutting down factor to Stan's team. Just ignore the Segment. You know, her armor break is really the only thing that can deal with Leona, but you just got to go into this thinking that maybe Leona gets banned. Your priority is making sure your Molong and everything combo goes through, but instead he bans the Hathor, meaning the Molong and ichardS combo is not going to be as effective as we would like to see it.
Okay, here we go. The final deciding game between Stan and Hong. Hong's friend up first. Fairy Blessing is in. And getting all that good stuff, all those buffs up. It is over to Molly now. See what she wants to do here. Who is she going to try to strip potentially? Get that will immunity off. Doesn't get it. On to Molong.
Yeah, I mean, Segment right now, she does benefit off of buffs sticking to the units because she gets more cooldown reduction on that skill 3 as he lands a really nice reset onto the ichardS. It does mean that even if Molong does the Reckless Assault here, there's not going to be enough follow-up unless the Leona procs, because I don't think the skill 2 is going to do enough damage here, and ichardS should be saving skill 3. If you use it, you're an absolute troll, Hong, I swear to God.
He went for it. It is going to be onto the Segment there, and it gets stripped right off of her. Goodbye. You can heal her back up with the Fran at least. Now you're trying to get some more stuff going, and now over here it is going to be the Curse of the Beautiful coming through. It does get the armor break onto the Jean, and some other debuffs coming through as well, but now she's stunned up and provoked.
Yeah, I mean, things are not looking good now because you don't have Ganymede for the ichardS, meaning that the revive is not infinite. You do have to wait out the cooldowns to get that thing back up. However, I do see what he was going for, right? Because if he somehow manages to not get CC'd by the Leona, then he gets a combo off with the armor break into defense buff skill 2. But why even try for that when you're legit gambling on the fact that Leona's not going to land or provoke? So right now, we have a situation where Hong, he has so much support, so much sustain, he's going to be able to constantly heal through whatever Stan can do. Stan's got a little bit of healing on his own. It's basically a game of sustain.
Okay, we'll see who can outdo who. You do get the armor break here on the Segment now. That's a big deal, and yeah, there is a bit of sustain there as well here for Stan, and a little bit of poke damage coming through. Here comes that Fury of Punishment. Does damage and gets the provoke on the Segment.
Yeah, there were no crits there, so there wasn't too much damage. I'm not sure if this Leona is even going to be on a crit damage build or not, because I do know that triple defense is also a popular build from what I have seen. As we see ichardS constantly getting shut down. She hasn't been able to do much this game, as John gets a huge proc. This is going to CC 1, not many, 1, and the heal. There's a CC, okay, stun is pretty nice. Molong, he needs to keep landing armor break onto the Segment, or Fran try to, whatever the case, he just needs to land it because Leona wants to be killing.
Yeah, it seems like he's not able to break through to get the Segment down, and now you're really whittling this ichardS down as well. And it is not good, as Fran, I think he's switching gears here because he realized he isn't going to be able to beat Segment, so he's going to try to just focus down one of these supporters, see if he can break through that way. But even with Molly, it's just too much. He can't get anything done, and now this ichardS is getting very, very weak. We can use the Curse, and it is big, and it gets a lot of armor breaks.
Yeah, so now you have too many armor breaks on your team. You can only cleanse one of them. This is going to be a tough choice. If he goes for the ichardS, I don't really agree with it because she's most likely going to die anyway soon. So I like that he's gone for the Leona. And now, do keep in mind, Stan's main win condition here is going to be the Leona, as Molong, I know you're disappointed in him not landing any stuns. I see you shaking your head.
I thought you caught onto my disappointment there. Oh boy, I think that's a dead ichardS. Yes, he is gone. But yeah, like you mentioned, Leona's still here, so there's still a shot for Stan. And now you're refocusing your attention onto Jean, it looks like, indeed. Do get the attack decrease onto her, of course, you know, with that invulnerability. And now the counterattack as well there available for the Leona. She's a difficult target to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, she is difficult, but the segment there, once that armor break lands, we've seen this TARDIS deal out massive damage, as we see Mo Long making full use of that invincibility from John, meaning he takes no damage return from skill 3. However, TARDIS has revive up next turn. This guy hits for an absolutely high multiplier, as we see 10k with no defense buff.
Alright, skill 3 is up for the Sekhmet. Charming Voice, we are going to use it onto the Jean. And we are going to get it, indeed. The cooldowns are reset for her, so just skill 1 available there. Over towards Leona, only skill 1 available. She does get the stun, though, onto Sekhmet. That's nice. Dragon Dance comes through, and again...
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Mo Long cannot do anything. He needs to rely on that skill 3, as we said. Maybe that skill 2 will work once in a blue moon, but you never want to come into a match banking on it. As we see TARDIS reviving the friend once again. We are so sick of these supports constantly just bouncing on each other like, here you go heal, here you go heal.
Oh, you're dead? That's nice. Here, come on back. And then we have Molly just to make everything better for you. Everything's open for Curse of the Beautiful. Comes down. Only gets the armor break onto Mo Long, though, so would have probably liked it onto Jean to get her finished off. But you can purify yourself with Fran, get the heal back up and running. But now Jean finally has a skill available. She's going to go for that skill number 2 onto Mo Long.
Yeah, but unfortunately that's not the one he wanted to cleanse, as John's going to go down, and at this point it's going to be down to just pretty much how much stuns can Mo Long get. Clearly 0. He has not done anything this whole game. He's landed a lot of armor breaks, so I'll give him props on that.
He has landed a lot of armor breaks, but these stuns are just not coming for him. It is really, really hard for this Mo Long, and to make things worse, he's attack broke now as well, as Fran gets a proc in there, but nothing too critical. Over to the Molly, her turn to keep whittling down this poor water panda. Charming Voice now available. It is going to be used by Sekhmet, and it is resisted by Mo Long. He's got that going for him.
But there's immunity, so I'm just really face palming here right now, waiting for the inevitable when Mo Long dies, and it's going to be Leona versus the world, because we know Leona's a unit that can just make logic not a thing. She makes 1v4s happen where they shouldn't happen. She makes matches winnable where they shouldn't be winnable. She is pretty much the dreamer of all dreamers.
So Molly gets a proc in there. No strips either. Now you do have the Charming Voice, so another attempt at stripping these buffs off of her. This time you're going to get it for the Sekhmet. And of course that counter stack still hangs on through the turn. Now over to Fran. She's going to purify the Molly. You just want to keep those supports alive and running. Just be safe at this point for Hong. Don't open any doors for Leona as best as you can help it. Oof! Big damage though on a Molly.
Yeah, but that proc does mean that the shield came off, and it opens her up to a world of damage. Not really what Stan wants when he's looking for a solo, as this armor break is going to be a deciding factor. However, the resistance on Leona is too high. Sekhmet has been struggling to land armor break on her throughout the game. I believe it landed only once, as Leona once again has a chance to punch her way to the victory line. She needs a proc here, but she doesn't get it.
Alright, it's not going great just yet. Still resisting a lot of these strips from Molly, so you got that going for you. Shields are up to protect you. Stun down as well. And now you're going to stun the Sekhmet as well, so Fairy Blessing going to come up. Everyone's back to full life. You do have the Purify if you want to reset one of those stuns. Indeed, you're going to do it onto Sekhmet there. Back over to Molly, and still nothing really doing for those Molly strips on her skill 1. Back over to Sekhmet, and skill 3 is up. Charming Voice, we're going to go for it. Is it all going to land?
I mean, if it lands, it doesn't really matter, because it's not really going to reset anything of importance. Of course, skill 2 is that extra damage that Stan wants. However, the main thing that we're looking at here is, does TARDIS land stun on skill 1? Because you want to keep the Leona locked down to buy yourself time to get that skill 2 back up on Sekhmet. Here we have the skill 2 that we talked about. This needs to land. That is going to land. And now Leona is in for a world of trouble here. She's going to take a lot more damage. Even Fran breaking through the shield.
Oof, yeah, not looking good now here for this Leona. She comes through, hits the Molly, does okay damage there. Doesn't get any procs though, and then it's just a big finish for Tyrannus. And that is going to be Hong taking game number 3.
Yeah, I mean, so I kind of went through the game in my mind starting from the draft, and I feel like the main fault here was the draft from Stan. It didn't really make any sense to me. I liked the Mo Long John attempt, and I even liked the Jemire. Up till that point, everything was really, really, like, good for him, I would say. But then when Leona came in, it was like really, dude? Like, he still has 2 more units he can pick. You've only seen 3 units, and you pick a Leona with Jameyer? Like, what? And then the Hathor ban too, right? Like, he had no immunity, and that does make Hathor scary. But Tarnis was a unit that you absolutely cannot deal with, or at least get rid of the segment, because she was too disruptive to your team's flow. I feel like Stan was all over the place that game, which is why we see Hong here with the confirmation screen of 2-1 victory over Stan.
Yeah, I think the other thing that you mentioned early on is that with Tyrannus, if you ban him, then there's no damage either for Hong. I mean, it's Hathor, Sekhmet, Molly, Fran. I mean, that's not that's very weak in terms of damage output, and you can probably hang on long enough with what you've got. Maybe, I would assume.
Yeah, that's a great point, because, you know, when Hathor AoE sleeps, you obviously don't want to use an AoE skill to wake things up, right? So Sekhmet might not have even had a chance to get a useful skill 2 off, so nothing's gonna die. Like, that was just lost from the draft, I would say.
All right, so congratulations to Hong. He moves on. Stan does have another chance tomorrow, guys, so make sure you tune in as we get ready for Hao and GAIA, the final match of the quarterfinals here. We'll be back more with SWC 2020.
Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free. fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free.
Welcome back, everyone, to SWC 2020. We march on the last of the quarterfinals here. How versus GAIA coming up at you. And I think these are two really, really strong players, of course. You can see there is that Mina, that Elenoa being picked for How. There's been some lockdown comps that I've been seeing with Elenoa kind of floating around a bit. But he's got that Yunhung, that Gianna available as well. And then he's going to be facing... And Peter, you told me about this, I even remember this, last week when we were looking ahead to this week's schedule, that GAIA was the guy that you probably thought was maybe the strongest player here.
Yeah, I mean, GAIA's the guy that has all of my attention today because this guy has always been top-tier performance, you know. His ranking is a lie. Whatever rank he finishes, it doesn't matter because this guy, he's a guy that can get to top 100, top 30, top 10, whenever he pretty much feels like it. And he doesn't even need to follow the meta. He just kind of uses whatever he wants and makes it work because his runes are that good. And one of his claim to fame is he doesn't like to, you know, play around with Molly and that boring stuff, no damage. He puts all the supports on crit damage. If there's a person that would put Fran on a crit damage, it's GAIA.
All right, let's see what we got here. How versus GAIA for match number 4 on the day. Somebody goes on tomorrow to face Stan, and then the winner of this is going to face Hong in the semifinals. We're getting ready for this. Pre-bans come down. It is going to be Gianna being banned by GAIA and Vanessa being banned here for How. So, first pick is about to roll out in just a second.
Yeah, Vanessa was a very popular pick for GAIA. He has one of the most strongest Barbaras. Very insane runes on that thing, and Vanessa's a fantastic combo with it, which is why it was pre-banned. But the Gani turn is very early on picks coming out. We've seen this duo be very, very strong together. This is one of the rare moments when Gani just feels so overwhelmingly powerful when they are allowed through together. And right now, we see How is a bit caught off guard by it.
Yeah, it is scary when you see those two paired up. You really got to start thinking. So might be relying on his Yunhung here, and we'll see if what he's gonna follow it up with. Is gonna be Daphnis that he follows it up with. Next up for GAIA, see what he has planned to follow up behind this very strong duo, Abellio and...
I mean, to be honest with you, if I saw this 3 draft coming out of anyone else, I'd be questioning it. But because it's GAIA, I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the ride because I know it's going to work. We have even John in there. People usually don't do this, but it's GAIA, so I have my faith.
Yeah, John, I mean, we're seeing her for the first time here today in the last match, and then she's back again. So pretty fascinating to see her. And we're going to find out what exactly How wants to do. He's taken a lot of time to think about these picks. I think he's a little bit perplexed, just like we are with GAIA. We'll see exactly what How wants to do. Molong and Vivachel.
I don't really understand that. I'm not sure if I vibe with that, you know, because Molong into Tarnis has been historically bad, and I can't believe he last picked that, as we see better response coming out. Beta is going to provide the immunity against Sierra, against Armor Break from Molong, and it's also an extra form of revive. As we see Tarnus being banned out, that makes a lot of sense for Hao here, and right now, we have a very One-Punch Man style-esque team going for Hao here.
yeah, Hao's got to get that Molong going. He's got to hit hard and fast, and we'll see. But yeah, there is that revive potential, kind of GAIA hedging his bets here with the Beta at the end. So you have Tyrannus or Beta. I guess you got to pick one or the other. Tyrannus so scary, and you're going to pick that one to ban out as we get ready for game number 1 here. Hao going to be on the bottom, GAIA on the top. And this is the last match of the quarterfinals.
Yeah, so the main difference between Beta and Tardis is that Beta does not self-revive once she is killed, which does open her up to this Molong combo. As we see Yunhong, he knows he's faster, so he's just saving his stuff. He's going for the skill 3 Hellfire onto Beta here. As the Nemesis procs, this could have been potentially really bad for Hao. However, Molong with the speed tune is going to be able to finish her off, and Abellio passive not really getting much value here.
Yeah, it was a nice start here for Hao. Did exactly what you mentioned. That one punch comes through. Now you can seal the magic. Everybody's attack bars except for Vivachel getting pushed back there over to John. She gets the stun onto Molong.
But the skill 3 out of Viva Shell, huge value. If you look at the attack bars right now, it looks so juicy. All 3 units are really low, but he holds on to it surprisingly enough and chooses to cleanse instead. I really wish he just went for it. That would have been cool.
Yeah, the safe play coming out here from Hao. Instead of going for that skill 3, and now we're just poking down on it to the Ganymede. There's the stuns that we're looking for from Molong.
What in the world? We had the last game with Molong, and all those stuns were combined into this one punch coming out of Hao. He has all the punches in the world going for him as he chooses Abellio. This is interesting, because if that Abellio procs, there could be a healing coming out as we see it happen.
There you go. Skill 3 gonna come down. He transforms, but he gets that healing that he was looking for. Big proc there for GAIA, and it is only the skill 1 available for the Daphnis. Gonna hit the Jean a bit, gets the glancing onto the Abellio. Ventilate here, not gonna use it, just gonna go for the Yunhong. And just poking down each other, gets the AoE provoke. Everybody's looking at that Jean.
Yeah, right now, the John is going absolute berserker mode, and Abellio trying his best to stay alive because he is the main damage dealer for GAIA here currently. He needs all the Ganny procs he can get. However, he's got another provoke, and everyone gets landed on.
Smart patience here from GAIA to wait for that ventilate onto a Jean. Go for the AoE provoke a couple times in a row. Just completely keep Hao on lockdown. And it's just some damage being done to this Jean, but she's resisting. She's a tanky girl. She's holding on, and that Molong is going to go down.
I wonder if that Ganny's on crit damage, because that was huge damage given that it was done onto a Molong. As we see Abellio just really making Hao's life hard here. So much healing, so much procs.
Damage so big too. Everything looking good now. GAIA turning it around. The one punch was only so strong. Getting the resets there onto the Yunhong. Still provoked as this Vivachel. Finish the job. Looking good for GAIA.
This is what I meant about GAIA. You can never count this guy out of the match. Clearly, his supports are ruined on crit damage, as these 3 units, when we look at it on paper, they're units that are there to be disruptive, not to do damage. But surprisingly enough, they're doing enough to take things out, as Yunhong, she's been provoked the entire game, and she is going to go down here to the Wild Blow.
Yeah, if you just keep Vivachel provoked as well, she can't do anything else, so that immunity doesn't even come into play. Great game here for GAIA. He's going to take it as we look forward to game number 2. Hao, it started out so good. He got that initial knockout that he needed, but then the counter blows from GAIA just too strong.
I mean, we saw that Molong stun, right? We were shocked by it. 3-man stun out of Molong. Who in the world expects that to happen in 2020? And given that it happened and he still lost, that just shows how little chance he had coming into the game, because so many things were going absolutely perfect for Hao, but GAIA just had the response. He felt so comfortable fighting that Molong style team.
Yeah, I mean, GAIA just even suffering early loss is able to come back. So good stuff from him. Now they're taking a lot of time to think about these pre-bans. I think Hao's a little bit potentially a little bit off kilter right now because of how he started out so good. He got that beta down so fast. You know, you eliminate that revive potential. It didn't matter. This time it's going to be the Yunhung and the Barbara being banned out.
Yeah, so the reason why John is super annoying, as we saw there, is because she's kind of like a Hathor in the sense that she got a 2-turn CC, but she also keeps cycling the turns because she gets another turn with the skill 3, and you can end up in a situation where you're constantly provoked, as we see GAIA, you know, putting on the blinking lights, the stop lights, the green light, red light, green light.
There we go, Sierra finally. He fooled around with a couple interesting first picks there, which would have been really unusual from GAIA to go with a Tetra or Juno. No, it is going to be the Sierra, more of a standard first pick.
No, he was making a speech for himself there. That was a power move saying, hey, I know you got Gianna now, but look at what I got. I got these coming for you if you dare to pick it. And right now, you can see how he is psychologically damaged by it. GAIA, he may not have an advantage in the draft yet because it's too early on, but he has a psychological advantage on his enemy. How? He was so devastated by Gani last game. He doesn't want to deal with it anymore. He takes it away from GAIA because we saw how OP that combo was with the John, the Druids being there, and now Lauren. Wow, that unit we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, not in a while. She kind of fell out of favor in the RTA meta. Now maybe GAIA feeling like he can get something done. I mean, those attack breaks, the strip, she's really, really annoying. And the heal block as well there for Lauren available. So really, really interesting pickup here for GAIA. And you can see How is just not sure. And he's going to that Viva Chell bucket once again. Now he's got to pick something quick, goes right for Daphnis.
Wow, it's the same strategy again. I personally would have liked to see more of an Elenoa team come, and I'm sure he's thinking about that for the last pick because Elenoa is such an interesting unit. She is either super bad in the match and has no impact, or is super broken and you just cannot deal with her. So I would have liked to see how utilizes it. His team comp does allow her to potentially show up here as GAIA going for the Vanessa or Vertihal Triana with the Vanessa. So we have a very supportive lineup on GAIA, and you may look at this and think, what if you ban Sierra? Where's the damage? But no, GAIA Triana, one of the hardest hitting Trianas out there, super efficiently built, and everything's going to be doing a lot of damage as we see Gianna coming out. I mean, Gianna's always good, but she's not super duper scary here.
Okay, the post bans being thought about by both of these guys as we get ready for this game number 2. How, if he loses, he goes on to tomorrow to face Stan, and if GAIA loses, then we go to a game number 3. It is going to be Gianna and Vanessa being banned out.
Alright, so Gianna being banned out does guarantee GAIA a safer turn 1, and Vanessa being banned out does make that, you know, Daphnis Viva Show combo not as hard countered, so to say, by the Vanessa Triana, because they deal with that combo super duper well.
Okay, let's see how this one plays out. Game number 2 between GAIA and How coming at you. How is looking to turn this around and take a game off of GAIA, but GAIA looks so strong. It's going to be Daphnis up first for How. Thinking about this move, taking a lot of time. Hellfire coming through onto this Triana. Doesn't want to let her bring anybody back, and instantly down. Another one punch for How.
Yeah, GAIA used to not have his Triana on Will, but now it is, so that is going to be a armor break coming out, and as we saw, the Triana being on crit damage build didn't have enough tankiness to survive that. And now, it looks bad for GAIA, right? Because always, How comes in, he gets his punch in, and he's starting 3v4. But what about the Vertihal Lauren? If he gets cycled on, it's over.
Oh my gosh, it does so much damage, and instantly Gani counterpunched back on out, leaves this game over to Viva Chell. Huge blows to both of these players to start.
But here comes the super efficiency on that Viva Shield skill 3. That is almost perfect in terms of result of what you want. And I would go for the Fran as well. That was absolutely the right choice, but not landing this strip onto the immunity was so unlucky.
Yeah, not getting that strip is going to be a big deal because it won't let those bombs come through. Now Lauren is down. You still have Verd and Sierra up for GAIA. And you have a choice here for How. Thinking about healing himself. No, he's going to remove the sleep off of Viva Chell there. And that's going to be a lot of damage coming Fran's way, but he does have the skill 2 here for Viva Chell. And that could be a little bit of healing. He's going to use the healing music there and get another turn of immunity. But there's so much damage from these crits out of Gaia.
Yeah, I feel like that Verdal could be on crit damaging. As we see right now, Fran did hold on with a small amount of HP. No proc did come through, meaning Fran's gonna die. Sierra has a window. He's gonna try to bomb the Daphnis. He needs the stun to connect because he does not want to get skill 3 by it. But we gotta see right now the attack bars, and he absolutely needs to detonate because Daphnis was going to move before Verdal. This stun is huge, and now this Daphnis needs to not be unviolent if you're Gaia as the crits come out. But the revenge!
Oh my gosh, huge moment there. Now it's Verdahile coming in, doing some decent damage to Daphnis. This Sierra gets a proc. Oh my word.
I think when we say damage, we need to capitalize the every single letter in damage, because this Verdahile, where do you see such a high damage Verdahile ever?
He hits like a truck. He hits so hard right now. And that crit is going to finish off the Sierra. So, Verd versus Vivachel. Who do you like here, Peter?
I mean, I'm looking at the match and I'm looking at the guy who's proccing. I think the one who has a turn advantage is obviously going to take over here as Vivachel. He needs to sleep. He really wants to sleep. This Vivachel hasn't been sleeping throughout the game. He's going for the safe play here. I'd rather he honestly just went for the sleep because he needs all the damage he can take. As we see the Vampire not stopping to move at all.
It's just, this Vampire has no chill. He is just going right in for it. This Vivachel looking very dead. Down she goes. Gaia takes game number 2 and the match.
Well, I guess we learned a lesson from this. Don't use Bolong against Gaia. It's not gonna work. Don't use Daphnis against Gaia. It's not gonna work. Don't use Vivachel. What do you use against him?
I don't know. It was just every time. You know, Hao has these great starts. He's probably feeling pretty good. He gets one of Gaia's, Mons removed, and then it just doesn't matter. Gaia's just got so much damage out of everything. Everything hits hard. It's fast. They're proccing. It's nasty stuff from Gaia.
Yeah, I mean, if you've never heard of Gaia, you clearly know him now, and you know this guy. You can't count him out when it comes to strategies. We see so many weird builds coming out of this guy, so many weird comps, and he's not even sticking to one. That's the most crazy part. He's got so many crazy comps that I don't even know what's coming next.
Yeah, it is really fascinating to watch what he's able to bring out. So it is going to be Gaia taking the match 2-0 over Hao. So Hao moves on to face Stan tomorrow in the losers bracket, and now Gaia goes on to face Hong next.
Yeah, I mean, we went through the first brackets, I would say, pretty fast. I feel like the only one where we hit a red light was the Molly match. When we had a game, it was literally like 5 supports designed to drag the game out for 20 minutes. And now, going into round 2, but before we do that, we got a code for you guys.
Yeah, Ni Hao SWC2020. Hello, SWC2020. And get yourself some energy and 100,000 mana there. And we have yet another code coming, so stay tuned. Don't worry, there's still one more to go. But before all that, we've got 3 more matches. So get excited. Hang on, guys, because I tell you what, I'm excited for that Gaia Hong match. I think that one's going to be really interesting. But first up is Richard and Mr. Chung, both 2-0ing their opponents early on, looking really strong there. That Ileana, the Julian, that light vampire is really scary for Richard.
Yeah, I mean, we saw Julian picked in both matches, and it was able to get everything done that it wants to. And when you let a light vampire go free, you saw what damage it can do. So I'm sure all these players are contemplating how to counter it.
All right, let's see what Mr. Chung is going to do. We have the semifinals coming up next at SWC 2020.
Street Fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free. Outriders have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Even bonus, get Ken for free.
We are back. It is time for the semifinals on day number 1 of the Chinese Taipei and Hong Kong region. We have got a good matchup here. Richard versus Mr. Chung. Both of these guys defeating their opponents in a 2-0 fashion. And there you can see Richard has some really, really good light nat 5s coming out.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about the Julian earlier, how much potential he had and how much this Ileana pick was enabling that unit for Richard here. And of course, he has a Jaeger as another hard carry unit if Julian gets shut down.
Yeah, it's a really, really strong set of mons that Richard can bring out here. The Vigor in there as well. Artemil he has available, so he's scary, but this guy is also very, very scary. That light monkey, the Qitiang-Desheng, very, very powerful. Like you mentioned, kind of like a Hathor in a lot of ways.
Yeah, the Qitiang-Desheng, we saw this unit, what it can do when it goes against no immunity, and everyone who saw it absolutely does not want to be in that seat.
Yeah, so it's going to be really interesting to see what Mr. Chung can do and what Richard is going to have in his arsenal to try to counter some of this stuff. Is he just going to outright ban the Light Monkey after he saw it? Is that going to open up the door for some potentially other bad things to happen? Can't wait to see game number 1 of the semifinals coming at you, Richard versus Mr. Chung.
Now do keep in mind, Richard went against a Gianni user both games. Not exactly what he wants when he's relying on that Ileana a lot, but I'm sure he has ways to deal with that unit as we have seen him do it on that first matchup as we have the pre-bans, and it's going to be Gianna and Jaeger.
All right, Gianna and Jaeger out for this one. And that makes sense that Richard Jaeger was very, very scary and does a lot of damage, as all of those Dragon Knights do if they are around. First pick is Richard Hathor. First pick coming through. What Mr. Chung will he do now? Hathor was often banned by Richard, or he first picked it. So it is going to be Ganymede and Vigor as the follow-up.
Yeah, so we have a very standard start coming out of both players here so far. Hathor Gani contested as always. Vigor also contested. But now we have Fran coming out with the Julian, a monster that's been very successful for Richard. And we have Ethna being attempted here again. I feel like I've seen this comp before. I'm getting flashbacks.
It looks pretty familiar to what Mr. Chung tried in game number 1, and it ended up being successful. Now the Etna was banned, and he last picked the Qitiang-Desheng. So Richard's got to be aware of that, and he's going to go for Ileana Artemil. Just safe picks for him. This looks very familiar to what he picked in game number 2. The only difference is he doesn't have Jaeger available. So in his first match, I should say, for Richard. And then here for Mr. Chung, he has this last one. Is it going to be that monkey?
Nope, because there's double immunity this time. So Richard, he's clearly watched the match and he knows that he needs to not let that monkey through, which is why Richard switching up the strategy now, going for Oki, because that unit can try to reset one of the immunity, has great synergy with Gani, works very well with Ethna as well. So I like that pick coming out. Richard right now, he was really banking on double immunity coming through for him, but now he says, I am just gonna forget about it. Let's play with the dices, the 50-50, and I'm just gonna ban your healer.
All right, here we go. Richard versus Mr. Chung. Game number 1. Richard on the bottom, Mr. Chung on the top. Okeanos up first here for Mr. Chung.
Does it land? Okay, it lands, and now Efna, she's got a very consistent strip because that capture hits so many times. The stun's gonna connect as well. Now, Gani, he's gonna be able to move before anything else besides Hathor on the side of Richard. He's going to get huge attack bar manipulation out of that skill 3, as now things are looking really good for him right now. He could follow up with the Rain of Stones, and now Ethna just needs to armor break to put the cherry on top.
Yeah, this is huge. Good start now. Etna's AoE, the Shatter comes through, gets the armor breaks onto Artemil and Julianne there. Gonna reset the cooldowns onto Okeanos, and now you're trying to break down that Artemil while that armor is on there. Not getting the dots, but that's not the end of the world as the stuns wear off. Now we're going to get Rain of Stones again because he was reset. You're just trying to lock everything down and you're going to get it.
Yeah, this is an absolutely premium Okeanos right now. He's going to go for the skill 2 on Artemil. I love that play. He definitely wants all the damage he can get done onto Artemil. As right now, I would save Shatter. You do not need to worry about armor breaking the other units. You should be worrying about killing Artemil instead. Very smart play, Mr. Chung. Going for the capture on Artemil right now. It is so tanky, however. Velojo with the proc is going to be able to finish off Artemil. That was an insanely lucky proc because it prevents him from getting potentially procced on.
Yeah, huge plays here from Mr. Chung. The stuns are off. This time you're not able to ventilate the Okeanos just yet, so a little bit of reprieve, but all of the armor breaks come from the Shatter.
Yeah, this is like the textbook perfect version of how to play out Ethna, Gani, Oki. You want to have an open field where everyone is getting full usage out of their AoE skills, and Hathor with the elemental disadvantage cannot lock down Okeanos. Now what does that mean? He's going to punch for 3k. Now Gani with the attack bar manipulation, and Mr. Chung is just going around in circles.
This is just a one-sided affair right now. Now Julianne's still alive here, so that can cause potential problems. And it doesn't matter. It is going to be shut down. And now the stuns are through. This is going to be game for Mr. Chung.
Yeah, what an absolute, just completely dominant fashion of a victory this is. Mr. Chung going with that Okeanos, showing that he has flexibility, not just relying on the monkey, but rather a more well-built around team comp. That was a really strong showing by him.
Yeah, he just shut everything down there, showing that even with all those passes available, it doesn't matter. Those Okeanos stuns, both times, just fully wiping the board there, fully stunning the board for Mr. Chung. And yeah, he looked really, really good there. That was not many turns that Richard even got to take.
Yeah, not to mention the Gani attack bar reset as well, right? I think, to be exact, Richard got one turn throughout that whole game, and that was when Hathor got to move because it's faster than Gani. And then after that, he was kind of just sitting there.
I think you're absolutely right. That was definitely a bit of a solitaire match there for sure. So
Solitaire? Hey, I'm offended. I like solitaire.
Me too, actually. Yeah, so Fran going to be the first pick for Mr. Chung. Richard now thinking about how he's going to be able to counter this. Ileana and Jaeger this time. Jaeger got banned, so it's available as it's going to be the Artemil and Hathor bans.
All right, and we see the Gianna follow-up. Gianna into Ileana. This is what everyone expects to see, and I'm sure Richard expected it too. So if you're Richard right now, you are absolutely keeping your eye on that Gianna. You either want to ban it or you want to pick units that deals with her in a way where you don't have to ban her. Because the problem is, when you're going into a draft, only the second part of it, and you already have a unit that you really kind of must ban, it gives the opponent flexibility. It allows them to do things like, you know, Rika, we've seen a very popular choice, Vertihal, you know, units that completely make usage of the opponent's draft. As we see, Tianlang is going to be a hard shutdown to anything that Mr. Chung has put up so far. That is absolutely going to be the target ban here, potentially, and Gianna, I would assume, would be the other ban.
Wow. Wow, yeah, so this is going to be interesting. It's the Vertihal ban coming out.
Okay, so I get that Richard expected the Tianlang to get banned out, and if you let a Vertihal through, obviously that is going to be super disadvantageous because you got a Leo in there. And I do kind of like that actually, that he didn't ban Gianna. I think he made the right play, but we'll see.
Alright, and the resistance is there, of course, for the Diana. There's not a lot of damage being done here. Now you got to think about it. if you are going for that critical error. See what we get
Oh
going.
my gosh.
Just the one stun.
Yeah, he didn't get Wusa, and now he is not in the best position here. So Richard not banning Gianna really paying off for him right now. As Vigor, he can go for the armor break because Wusa cannot cleanse. This is his golden opportunity as he's going to go for the skill 1, I would assume. Very smart because speed buff does nothing into Leo.
That's a really good point.
Oh my gosh, that's gross.
Oh no, and there's the cleanse and the attack bar buff, and it comes through, does some decent damage, 12,000 to that tanky Diana. And now the Wusa buffs are up immunity, and the shield is there. And the Diana's turn, and yeah, she's gonna go into that human form, go for the strip. It's gonna be some good damage, and the strip coming down.
Yeah, the strip landing on everything is going to allow those thoughts to stack. It seems that Jaeger's going to get one more hit off, but other than that, he's looking real unhealthy here as Diana just getting casually healed up to full HP.
Yeah, this is problematic, and you might as well just go for it there. You're not going to do anything else with that brand skill 1. You do have the immunity and the shield up now, and you can cleanse it right off, but that Jaeger's still very, very hurt.
Yeah, now the problem is you got almost 3 turn buffs on all of your monsters, and that Gianna getting those attack bar means that her skill 3 is coming real soon. It's going to be locking down majority of Richard's lineup, as right now Jaeger holding on for dear life.
Yeah, it is okay. The invulnerability is there for him right now, but it is Diana's turn here, and he is thinking about exactly how he wants to roll through this. There is a lot going on. He is going to just do the regular attack. He gets a proc. Why not?
I don't know about this. I feel like he should have just shielded up or just gambled for the kill onto Jaeger. You know, I like playing safe, no doubt about that, but because he didn't shield, he's going to be taking a lot of return damage here right now as Gianna going for the double stun here onto Wusa Leo. He really wants it, but this Wusa is just anti-Gianna for some reason.
Yeah, it's a very tanky Wusa. You do finish the Jaeger off with the Vigor. He gets a proc, heals everybody up. Over to Diana. Now she's going to go in for the pew-pew, go for that damage, and she gets some decent damage there.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a Diana show here because even if there's no Vertihal around to fully utilize the opponent's Leo, Diana is a unit that loves to see Leo on the opposing side because she tends to be slow and she's got a passive around the attack bar, so she is absolutely benefiting everything there is to take from Richard's lineup.
Yeah, it's a really, really good point. All right, Fate of Destruction here, nothing doing. And it is just, you know, some cycling of skills here for Mr. Chung, trying to get this Diana down. And there's nothing that Vigor can do there either, but you have so much heal here from Fran and Vigor that Diana is a very tanky, tanky pony.
Yeah, I mean, he's been trying this whole entire game to take her out. And unfortunately for him, even if he somehow manages to buy time with all the shields and invincibility he's got, Gianna's just going to go ahead and strip it all, and Diana's just taking her sweet time.
Yeah, that could be the ending note for this one here. Now Mr. Chung really trying to break this Ileana. Gonna go into the human form, gonna go for the pew-pew. It is good enough. Down goes Ileana. Mr. Chung looking really strong.
Yeah, so this is that part of the game again where I know that Richard's lost, so I'm going to go ahead and break down why Richard lost in such a fashion, and that has to do with the fact that he picked Wusa and Leo in the middle, knowing that his opponent has 2 more picks to completely shut out this type of lineup that he could go for. Now, do keep in mind, Wusa and Leo, those units, both of them are units with great risk because there are so many counters to them and ways to abuse them, which is what Mr. Chung did, and Richard just got outdrafted.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's all she wrote. You don't even need the bombs to explode, and there you go. It is going to be Mr. Chung taking a 2-0 victory over Richard.
Yeah, I mean, that was very convincing as we have seen so far. We have seen 2 zeros mostly across the board, and that's not going to change as Mr. Chung really making that Vigor seem so strong here today.
I mean, it's kind of been back and forth with Vigor. He is either like he was really good for the first couple days, and you and I were sitting here like, guys, this thing is OP, like what's going on? And then since then he's kind of fallen off, but now we're finding some good uses for him. And even with the Leo slowdown, he's able to, you know, still be fairly useful. I mean, those armor breaks are so powerful. He still has a heal. You know, there still is that crit rate reduction that he brings. So there is still a lot of versatility, even when there is kind of a counter to a little bit of what he does.
Yeah, I mean, Vigor, we've seen his win rate at like a whopping 70-something%. It was the highest out of all the units, besides Juno, of course, with her 100% win rate back then. But right now, it's at like a 50, so you're right about that.
Yeah, it seems like people have kind of figured out how to play around it a little bit. A lot of back and forth going on with these players. But Mr. Chung, not a lot of back and forth there. He handles Richard very well. Richard moves on directly to the semifinals tomorrow, so he gets a bye through the first round. And then Mr. Chung now moves on to the next stage. He faces the winner of our upcoming match, which is Hong and GAIA in the finals today. So the winner of all of that moves on to the APAC regionals. So we find out one of our 2 players coming up here real soon. 2 more games to go, guys. Do not want to miss this. This is going to be really good. GAIA's coming up next. Can't wait to see this. We are super excited, of course, and we'll be back soon with SWC 2020.
Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free. fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free.
SWC2020 is back. 2 more matches to go. And then one of these 2 players coming up is going to face Mr. Chung in our winners files. It's Hong against GAIA. And Hong here looks very, very good. And so I was actually thinking about this, Peter. You know, with what GAIA has brought to the table so far with his strong crit rates and crit damage, like, do you think about Molly? Is that something that, because of that glancing passive, that you're really kind of, maybe if you're Hong, you know, it already worked for you once, maybe it's going to be powerful again?
I mean, the thing is, logically, you're absolutely right. But the thing is, if you approach RTA matches with logic being your primary focus, then you get tilted, because you get scenarios where you're logically right, but you don't end up right.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. All right, well, GAIA doing some crazy stuff, finally getting to see Lauren for the first time here in the APAC Regionals as we get ready here for this game. This, I think, is going to be a super fascinating matchup. Like, how can you shut GAIA down? Because he just looks so powerful.
I mean, I got you on that hype train with me. I got all the viewers on board too. All the hype up I'm doing for GAIA, it's making you guys root for him too, and it's not going to be for nothing, because I'm sure that this guy is going to pull out something interesting again out of his pocket.
Well, his self-introduction was strong spirit, strong life, so let's see if he can get it going here with this semi-final match. Hong on the left, GAIA on the right. And we will see exactly what these 2 players have in mind for their pre-bans. We did see Artemil and Celia there, but it's going to be Lauren.
I caught you there. You were just completely caught off guard by that.
I mean, I am pretty shocked. I'm not going to lie. That was not anything in the realm of my mind of what I was thinking would be banned. So Sierra first pick here for Hong. Over to GAIA now, who's probably a little shocked, but it's not going to confuse him too much. Goes right for the Ganny Hathor combo.
Yeah, it's a little bit untypical given that it's GAIA, but he is a very strong Ganny Hathor, I would assume, because this guy, he is a very smart player. And I believe the Lauren ban was because she is one of really nice units that can deal with Artemil very well. And Hong expected that if he gets Artemil through, he doesn't want to deal with Lauren. And now we have Molly, the logical way of looking at it, like you said, with Juno very early on. Now, I do like Juno here because she's always good into Ganny Hathor. The only problem is if it's too early and the opponent stacks Barbara and Daphnis, then maybe she might not be as good.
Yeah, that could be a serious problem, but there is that Fire Monkey. We've seen him be very effective, because you cannot get those hard stuns or sleeps or freezes onto him. And then the Chow going to be the last pick.
Yeah, so we have Vigor coming out. A very strong water nuker was what I was looking at, and Vigor is going to be what he needed because that armor break with the healing is going to provide so much versatility for the team. And Sierra being banned out means GAIA pretty much just wants to get the biggest RNG factor out of the match. He wants to deal with this full bruiser, anti-CC type of comp, and utilize this Daphnis somehow with no buffs on the field.
All right, here we go. It's just going to be the overtime there to start things off. Over to Vigor next as the GAIA. He is very, very fast. And what is going to be his strategy here? Shred over onto Chow with a bunch of damage as well.
Yeah, this attack bar reduction landing is going to be crucial as he lands it on some units. And Now Ganymede, however, can try again to push them back all the way. 17,000 Ganymede!
What? What? Ganymede can hit that hard? That's crazy. This poor Chow didn't even know what hit him. And because of the proc, and then it's Hathor up next, you can just cycle through, finish the job. Not looking good for Hong.
This is what we talked about. Logic. You want Molly so that he glances, but he crits.
Look at all those dots, though. Like all of a sudden, a lot of dots and a lot of melting happening to this Daphnis. So you're right. The logic maybe failed us, but maybe there's a counter punch available here for Hong.
Yeah, the scary thing is, right now, that Monkey King, Mei Hu Wang, he was getting some massive DPS in there. And GAIA, he does have the infinite CC. However, so many dots, right?
Yeah, it is a nasty amount of dots there. That is really, really scary. Of course, you can't sleep the Mei Hu Wang. So now it is everybody else but him, but you're going to wake that up. The healing from Molly's bringing Juno right back. Down goes Daphnis here. All of a sudden, things turning around very quickly for Hong.
Yeah, right now, Mei Hu Wang's looking to be an absolute powerhouse of a carry, except for Vigor. When he has that much damage coming out, it's going to be scary because we know again he's doing 4K per skill 1.
Oh, but the Molly there to heal it right back up. So things going back and forth. This Ganny hits like an absolute truck for GAIA. Now you've got the Vigor stunned up over to the Sweet Dreams. You're going to put that Molly back to sleep. Keep that.
Here comes a skill 3. The crit. It crits. It's going to do goddamn 17,000.
What in the world? I mean, this Molly can only hold on for so much longer. You're trying to finish this Vigor off so there's no more sustain here for GAIA, but you can continue to work down this Mei Hu Wang. Decent damage there. You haven't finished it just yet, but this Molly keeps coming up in time to keep it alive.
Yeah, I mean, this Monkey King is super tanky, and at this point with Vigor down, things are looking rough for GAIA because although your Ganny's on insane damage build, you can't really burst through a Monkey King with Molly. So the stuns coming out of Juno were so great for Hong. It bought him enough time so that Vigor just couldn't get anything done for like the past 2 or 3 turns. And that is going to be the advantage going over to Hong into a victory.
Really smart stuff here by Hong. Coming through, even though he lost that Chow early and it was looking good, all of a sudden there were a bajillion dots on top of GAIA, and that Daphnis, it just melted like ice cream on a hot day.
Yeah, that's what happens when you go Ganny Hathor and you have a player like Hong who feels very comfortable fighting him into Ganny Hathor because his team was the definition of anti-CC boring comps.
It was really, really smart. Really, really good. And the Mei Hu Wang and the Molly, so useful there. All right, this time, Ragdoll going to be banned by GAIA. Sierra banned by Hong. So this way you don't even have to bother with a post-ban on Sierra. Just get her out of the way right away. And then, of course, Ragdoll is just, perpetually nuts. So, GAIA first pick this time around. It was a Sierra first pick for Hong in game number 1. GAIA here. Really thinking about this. He went for Ganny Hathor. Now he's going to go for Vanessa first.
Yeah, I think not going for Ganny Hathor into Hong would be good here because we saw how, well Hong can deal with that comp as we see Fran being a typical response and Molly, once again, he's really following with your logic, Paper Thin.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me because what we saw was just GAIA crits all over the place and does a ton of damage. Barbara and Lauren coming down, so that Lauren is super, super scary. Barbara, just great, some strips, some attack bar buffing. She's really, really useful. Okeanos here once again. We finally see this guy around again. Richard tried him last time, didn't work out super well. It had a lot of stuns, but at the end of the day, it was Mr. Chung coming through with that. And then Savannah going to be the follow-up there.
Yeah, I like how there's not a lot of Hathor being contested this time around. Okeanos Savannah is going to provide a way to potentially deal with GAIA not getting the first turn if you're Hong, because you have 2 units that could be potentially very, very fast, but GAIA's just going to go ahead and bring out an extra speed leader through Tableau. We love seeing this unit always because it always does exciting things, boosting the teams, rolling the dices, getting the stuns.
Yeah, and just removing attack bar. It is a really, really fascinating Mon for sure. And it's actually one of GAIA's favorites. He actually mentioned that it's one of his 3 favorite Mons in the game is Tableau. So really interesting to see. It is going to be Lauren banned out and Savannah gone. So both of the scary Mons not going to be in play. Chao doesn't seem like it was too big of a scary threat for GAIA. And we will see exactly how this one plays out. GAIA's day on the line here. Now, and again, if he loses, he's got another chance. He can come back tomorrow. But right now, Hong's looking very good. And then Molly and Fran are in there.
Yeah, but this Barbara is going to be way too fast for Hong to deal with as the attack bar being boosted. And Daphnis not going to land the crit here means Vanessa's going to try to finish it off. The speed tuning on GAIA after the attack bar boosting is on point. His whole team's going to go again here. He's just going to go for armor break onto the Oki or Chao. And Daphnis with the skill 2 is going to say bye-bye.
Yeah, really smart setup here from GAIA, executed perfectly. Now all he has is a Molly and a Chao left for Hong, and this is a really smart counterpunch by GAIA.
Yeah, right now, the Chao has everything set up for him. He needs to be proccing the Justice because there's 2 units down, and that Justice is really going to be stacking up in multiplier as we see the attack speed slow landing, meaning Chao's not going to get that much turns.
Okay, and the unlucky 7s. I don't even see what it rolls against the slow. The roll is too fast for me to add in my head. Rock there for Molly, not the biggest of deals. And now you can really start to focus on this Chao as he has been slowed. Looking for the armor break here for Vanessa. Seal of Fire going to be used on Molly, and he does get that armor break.
Yeah, I love the targeting there. It makes so much sense to do that because Molly can cleanse only 1 unit. Chao with the good proc here. This is the proc that he needed. He's going to be able to take out the Vanessa passive potentially, but he chooses not to.
Okay, the dice, that's an 8 that time, so nothing too big. Okay, I can almost read those fast enough.
Whatever the case, this guy is proccing, but it's not really getting the armor breaks. That's all we know right now, as Molly's going to be utilized to take out the Vanessa passive here. This does mean attack buff is going to connect onto armor break.
32,000 damage to Molly. Bye-bye. Now you don't even need to worry about that passive if she is gone. The glancing effect on the Chao to make things worse. It is going to finish off the Daphnis, but it is not looking good here. The slow is down. Now you can just keep focusing it down. The armor break is in as well. This is looking like a very dead Chao. Indeed it is. It is going to be GAIA coming back and taking game number 2.
Yeah, that was too much damage for Hong to handle. He was looking at Chao to be the hero of the day, but he can't really be the hero when all 4 of his opponents are putting out that much damage, that much attack speed slow, and just destruction.
Yeah, it's a crazy moment there, and GAIA, once again, he's so smart. Even with that Molly there, he knows how to work around it. He gets 2 Mons out early. Fran and Okeanos, quick work with them. Same bans here for game number 1. Lauren and Artemiel once again.
All right, so this does mean that the first pick is going over to Hong, and what will he take? But will it be the Vanessa? We know Vanessa worked out great for GAIA many times, but no, it's going to be the Sierra. And we have the same draft again from game 1.
Yeah, so far it's exactly the same. Now we're seeing a bit of a change-up. No Juno this time. It's going to be Molly and Vigor. And then Barbara and what is going to be GAIA's next setup?
I mean, he knows that last time he went Daphnis, and that didn't work out great for him. So this time he switches it up to an Ethna, which is going to be responded by, once again, Mei Hu Wang and Juno. We know these 2 are super duper strong, especially into Gani Hathor, and Ethna having an elemental disadvantage on them is going to hurt GAIA a bit here. So right now, he needs something to shut those 2 out.
Okay, and he's thinking about it. You can see Ethna being very powerful when she's allowed in Mina. Mina.
She's definitely a unit that shuts them out. She does super damage with those punches.
Yeah, she's huge. She hits like a truck, like those cat girls like to do. And now this is going to be interesting. Post-bans being thought about for Hong and GAIA. Game 3, the deciding game here, and it is going to be Sierra and Ganymede that are banned. This Gany was so scary from GAIA. I totally understand this.
Yeah, I mean, it was doing so much damage, especially given the armor breaks, the abundance of it that GAIA has on his team. The only thing, though, is that Mina, she's not usually wanting to hit targets that are armor broken. And now we're gonna see the damage piling up. GAIA grabbing that first turn for himself again, boosting his team's attack bar. Hathor gonna follow up. He needs to land some attack bar decrease if he does go for it. And it is going to land onto the Mei Hu Wang. He's definitely happy to see that. Just gonna follow up with the skill 2 onto the Vigor. Ethna, however, cannot skill 2. So she's gonna be going for skill 3, potentially skill 1. If he doesn't want to give too much stacks. Okay, he's going for Juno instead.
Okay, yeah, stuns up the Juno there, does get it. And now it
Meow
is
Meow punch!
Meow Meow, big punches there. About half health, gets a little bit back from the Molly. And now the stun coming through on Mina.
Man.
You got me with the Meow Meow punch, I love that. All right, fast attack coming through. Ooh, the armor break and a bunch of damage onto Vigor. The proc as well, Vigor getting very, very low.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to see Mina move because how often do we get to see her actually being utilized to its full greatness, right? This Juno has been super consistent for Hong. He's always stunning with it. I don't know what's up with that. Always on water, too.
It's nuts. We've seen that a lot today with the elemental disadvantages still somehow being an advantage. So now it's a bit of a problem as you go for that shatter. Don't get any of the armor breaks you're looking for there. And this Mina is getting worked down, and that Molly hits hard with that armor break. Down goes Mina, stun onto Savannah. Over to Etna. Skill 3 is up, but now is not a good time for it. Nothing really, but you're going to try to get the sleep. Doesn't get it on a Molly.
Yeah, I mean, fire, stunning water has been a reoccurring theme today. For some reason, not just Hong, but I feel like every player today has been landing stuff on water with fire as if it's as easy as drinking water. And now, Etna, she does return the favor right now over to GAIA. The capture is going to come out, and it's going to wipe out half of Mei Hu Wang's HP. No proc from Barbara, though.
Yeah, let's not forget about that attack bar increase she gets from that skill 2. And it's a really, really useful ability. And now we're looking for this sleep. It's going to get it on everybody but Mei Hu Wang, so that's what you want.
He's going to die to this. There's no way he survives. Even with the miscrit, that would be a dead Mei Hu Wang. So right now, it's Juno versus the world. As she lands like, what the heck is that? 5 stuns in a row?
I don't know. I've lost count because it's been so many. So, little bit of crit. You don't get as much attack bar back as you would probably like if you're Etna there, because there were some glances I saw coming through. Now you're trying to work that elemental advantage onto Juno, trying to make her pay for all of those stuns she's getting. Skill 3, no stun there.
Oh.
No stun. Shatter is up though, and you do get the armor break onto Juno.
Violent Etna, my favorite type of Etna. And right now, the armor break you mentioned would be very painful for Hong to deal with, as he chooses not to cleanse it away because he knows Juno's going to move in front of the Barbara anyways, getting that extra healing. Now Etna, I'm not sure if she has what it takes to take out this Juno. Juno's looking real strong right now.
Yeah, let's see. It is Juno's turn, and it's just, it hurts. The shatter there as well, but Juno's still going to be going up ahead, and now you can just shield yourself from Molly attacking, and it's actually going to be GAIA tapping out. Hong takes the game and the match.
I feel like throughout the match, Mina's effectiveness was shut out so hard by Juno stunning her literally every single turn she moved that at that point, GAIA was like, okay, you know what? I got unlucky. My Mina didn't get to go, but I still have Barbara, except Barbara kept getting stunned too.
It was a crazy set of procs there from Juno. I mean, just showing again why Juno is so feared, why she's just incredibly scary. She does it again, and it is going to be, that setup there, Molly Juno for Hong, that gets it done in both of those games he won, set 1 and set 3. Those were 2 of the critical units. I mean, Mei Hu Wang causes a lot of problems for Hathor, so it's a really smart, I think, drafting by Hong here.
Yeah, I feel like going for Gani Hathor again was not the play for GAIA, because we've seen that Hong, he deals with that very well, even without getting as much despair stuns as he did. In round 1, he's shown that he's not scared of it at all, and it just allowed him to go for his comfort picks, Juno, Mei Hu Wang again, and it really made Hong shine.
I think that's a great point. Guys, we are getting ready for another break as we go to our finals. Hong versus Mr. Chung to decide who's going to the APAC Regional. Stay tuned. We'll be back with that final match shortly.
Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free. Street fighters have entered Summoner's War. Unleash a new world of adventure. Summoner's War.
昇竜拳
Event bonus. Get Ken for free.
It's time for the final game of the day here at SWC 2020 APAC Regionals. This is Chinese Taipei and Hong Kong. So it is going to be whoever wins this gets to move on to the actual APAC Regionals themselves. The loser becomes the final boss tomorrow. As all of these players, it is double elimination, so they all get another chance to come back and do it. And Hong coming in big over GAIA there, really utilizing that Molly. Very, very smart picks with the Junos and the Mei Ho Wongs. Now he's got to go up against Mr. Chung. And for Mr. Chung, what we've seen from him, he does have a Gianna, he likes Etna, so it's going to be really interesting to see what he's going to go for.
Yeah, I mean, we have Mr. Chung here. We've seen a plethora of strategies out of this guy. If there's anything we learned out of the last time that we saw him, is that he knows how to adapt around the enemy's picks. The last pick, Diana Vertihal, really caught his opponent off guard. It was able to give him a full 2-0 all the way up here.
Yeah, he's been really, really powerful so far today, has been Mr. Chung. And yeah, I think you're absolutely right. He has just 2-0'd his way to glory so far. He does have that light monkey available as well. And Hong looking very, very good. We know he has that Artemil and that Ragdoll as well, so still a lot of really interesting stuff that could come down. I think these guys have both been pretty versatile, pretty smart with how they're adapting to their opponents.
Yeah, I mean, we know Hong. We don't want to get any half for him, and I think we can stop calling him Hong. I think they should just replace his name with Despair God.
Absolutely, he is the Despair God. As we move forward to the winners finals here, Mr. Chung versus Hong, the final match of the day. And this is again a best of 3 to decide who will make their way to those APAC regionals. As we get ready for our pre-bans, it is going to be Artemil and Ganymede coming down. Mr. Chung banning Artemil, and then Hong banning Ganymede.
Something to keep in mind though is that I feel like Hong really hasn't picked Ragdoll at all today.
I don't think he has.
Yeah, like we talked about, you know, we see his monster box, we see Artemil Ragdoll. He sure does like the Artemil, but it seems that he's not really relying on the Ragdoll too much here. He's been relying more on that Molly, as we probably won't be surprised to see that out of him coming as a response to literally anything that Mr. Chung does. I don't think it's going to change his mind. He's just going to Molly.
This is actually the first time Mr. Chung has picked Hathor today, which I think is kind of interesting. Vigor here, and then, yeah, I was about to say Savannah. Then he changed his mind. That's you got plenty of time. I mean, Molly has been, you know, his bread and butter here for Hong, and he's going to go with Molly Juno, I think. Yes, indeed. That is really what's got him to these finals. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I mean, right now, you don't even have Gany available to pick if you're Mr. Chung, but I'm sure that even if he had it available, he would definitely be scared about picking it. As we see, Mr. Chung was inspired by GAIA today, bringing out Lauren and Vertihal of his own. Now this is the proper way to deal with Juno and Mei Hu Wang. It's going to shut them down pretty hard. Now, the only problem is Vertihal, will he be missing crits into Molly? And Illucia being there, is Vertihal going to get locked down? There's a lot of what-ifs for Mr. Chung right now.
Okay, now Mr. Chung really thinking about that final pick here, trying to see what he can do. There's a lot of cleanse as well available for Hong, so a lot of these debuffs that you're going to be putting down could become not as powerful. We'll see. And it is the last pick for him. He's really taking his time on this one. Looks like he's going to go for that immunity with Velajul.
Alright, so VeloJewel is a way to respond. However, seeing the Juno there, you obviously do not like her at all, which is why she gets banned out. And Hong, knowing that if Juno gets banned out, he's in a bad spot, returns the favor by banning VeloJewel.
Yeah, with all of those buffs you have from Vigor and VeloJewel, you can't afford to have that Juno around. That's just, we saw what happens when those dots come down. They're really, really scary. All right, first up is going to be Lauren for MR.CHUNG. And he's taking his time about, they're going to strip, get it on, and the armor break on to the Fran, but immediately cleansed by the Lucia, who gets to go again.
Yeah, that proc is so disgusting because Vertihal was the main thing for MR.CHUNG right now. He wanted the Vertihal to be moving as much as possible, but Lucia just gonna lock it down, and there's gonna be bombs being planted with attack buff, unless Hathor, you know, she failed to do her thing, but there's a skill 3. I mean, it's going to delay her for 1 turn only because there's a cleanse, right?
Yeah, exactly. You do have the Fran cleanse coming up. And then over to the Lauren, and there's not really a lot being done with that, as this Lucia is quite tanky and does, you know, have the immunity as well. So you're just going to skill 1 her. You get some okay damage out of the Vigor at least, but then you can just Purify, and there you go. I get a Lucia as that as well. Didn't even need to get to Fran.
Yeah, I don't know about that targeting. He should have just pushed back the attack bar of Sierra and woke her up because she's going to get cleansed anyways. There's literally triple cleanse on the side of Hong. So that was a pretty big misplay because it prevents the Sierra. It would have prevented the Sierra from getting what she would have liked, but now there's a bomb in your face, you don't got a cleanse. You really got to make use of this window right now, getting those Hathor procs, getting that Vertihal moving, and you want to take the Sierra out ASAP.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. There's so much cleanse here for Hong, so much heal. This is going to be a long one, I feel like. Attack break onto the Verd, and now you're going to put it onto the Lauren as well. The Molly strip available, doesn't land. Now over to the Verd. Now you can finally get this Verd going potentially. Gets a proc as well on his first turn up, so that's a nice situation. And gets that armor break.
Okay, there's no proc, but the Vertihal, if it moves here before the Sierra, which I think it could with the attack speed slow, it's going to boost up the Hathor anyways. He also has attack speed buff, so Hathor in for a very secure position right now to get the skill 3 off. He's going to push back the Lucia to make sure the revenge is going to hurt him though a bit.
And there you go, AOE sleep is in, and now you can finish off that Sierra. She was pretty much dead to rights anyway, but knowing you had the attack bar, you went for the AOE sleep first before you finished the job, and now you're going to start getting to work on to this Molly. Still a lot to be done here for MR.CHUNG, but there just isn't too much damage for Hong.
Yeah, this is kind of what happens when you just insta-lock Molly every game. You're bound to get punished by it eventually, because the Vertihal obviously doesn't care about Molly. He keeps critting away, giving MR.CHUNG enough attack bar that he needs to pretty much take out his team.
Yeah, not looking good. I mean, you can cleanse and put the shield down, but then there's the armor break onto Molly. Now she is the target, and you can put the armor break onto Fran as well. And things are starting to look not good here for Hong. And this is all starting to fall apart a bit.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, at this point with Sierra down, I can comfortably say that Mr. Hong, he lost this one because MR.CHUNG, he has such a strong lineup. Even though, you know, without the cleanse, it seemed a little bit dicey, he was able to get enough turns and procs on the Hathor to really turn things around, and Lauren Vertihal showing why they were so strong, and they still are.
Yeah, absolutely. Really fascinating to see, and you get the Fairy Blessing. That's nice. Feels like we're delaying the inevitable potentially a bit. And now with that armor broken, Fran, down she goes. This one all but over for Hong.
Yeah, I mean, I did like the draft out of Hong in the sense of Lucia, she was great, but maybe you don't need triple cleansers. Maybe that's a bit much.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good ban for MR.CHUNG to get rid of that Juno, of course. I mean, that's only the really other threat, and I'd say, you know, of the two, you're either banning Sierra or Juno, and it makes a lot of sense here. So even though there's a lot of freezes and other things going on, I guess there's still some kind of hope with incredible CC chains, but that sleep continues to dash some of those hopes now. And back over to the Verd. This one's just kind of waiting for the inevitable, it feels like.
Yeah, Hong's just being toxic right now, buying his time, spreading the freezes, just, you know, annoying MR.CHUNG because, honestly, although Ilusha is such a strong and potent unit in the late game especially as well, she just cannot deal with all these armor breaks coming out, and that is going to be the round taken by Mr. Chung.
All right, Mr. Chung comes through, continues his undefeated streak. He has not dropped a single game here so far today. Can he finish the job onto Hong in the next game?
I mean, if Hong goes for Molly again super early and Mr. Chung somehow doesn't care about the passive at all and gets all the things he needs, then obviously yeah, because Molly was pretty much a dead unit that game.
Yeah, nothing that Mr. Chung had really is scared of that Molly passive.
Well, Vertihile, right?
Vertihile, other than Vertihile.
But Vertihile doesn't care about it, so
yeah.
So technically he's not scared of it.
Yeah, exactly. So this time the Ragdoll and Gianna band's going to come through, so a little bit of more of what we would expect, you would think, with kind of how things typically play out in SWC, with those dark Nat 5s being super scary. And it is going to be Hathor first pick for Chung again.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, given how Ragdoll was not picked up by Hong at all, I wouldn't have been surprised to even see a different, more target ban on Hong here. Especially if you know that you're going to be taking Hathor first. You could have pre-banned Juno, pre-banned Mei Huang. But whatever the case is, right now we got a fairly standard trade of units. And Mr. Chung, I know he's not going to be too keen on taking Gani here. Normally you would be, but you've seen what happened to GAIA, and I'm sure you don't want to be in the same seat as him.
Yeah, so Vigor first, and then Vertihile again. And it makes a lot of sense. It worked once. It kind of counters the ideas of what Hong has been playing with all day. Sierra going to be probably picked here, I would assume, for Hong, as he's thinking about his second pick. It's going to be Okeanos this time.
Yeah, there was the Okeanos earlier. He was absolutely on point with all the debuffs he was landing. And Okeanos making a show again here. It is going to be a way to deal with the Hathor. There's not a lot of immunity on the side of Mr. Chung, so that is going to be a rather consistent and powerful pick, as right now Mr. Chung, you can tell he's a bit caught off guard by it. He goes Velojul Gani. It's going to be more effective this time, the Gani Hathor combo, because obviously there's no Juno Mei Huang, but Artemiel, do you really want to deal with that unit?
Yeah, this is a really tricky ban here for Mr. Chung. I really like Hong's draft this time around. It is going to be the Artemiel that is banned and the Gani this time around. So Okeanos is there, but the immunity is at least there. The immunity cleanse for Velojul, if you're allowed to do it.
Yeah, so what needs to happen here is Oki needs to move first and reset the Velojul. As we see, potentially, yep, he gets it. And surprisingly enough, Hong showing really good runes on the Fran with the Vanessa Speed Leader. It outspeeds Hathor, and that was so crucial.
Yeah, you can see the sleep does come down onto Sierra. That's a nice counterpunch there for Mr. Chung, but you want this Velojul out of the picture as quick as possible. And now we are back over to Vigor, and he's just going to buff everybody up, get that speed going, and really start to take a lot of turns is what Mr. Chung is hoping to win by here.
Yeah, and we see him going for Sierra. He identifies Sierra as a much squishier target than Vanessa potentially. And unfortunately though, Hong Sierra is on revenge, and that's going to deter Mr. Chung from wanting to hit that unit, because the attack bars can really shift the match around, as right now he's got to somehow make full usage of this speed buff because Oki has skill 3. He wants to be proccing, and if he gets the Oki here, that would be really devastating for Hong right now. I would gamble it. I would go for the 50-50, and he gets it!
Huge move there by Mr. Chung, and now you get the armor break onto Vanessa. Things looking good here for Mr. Chung. You can start working her down, put the punishment in, get a bunch of damage, but it is Fran's turn. She does have the Purify available. It feels almost necessary. See exactly what he wants to do. No, he goes for the attack bar reduction, and now this Vanessa is very, very hurt.
Yeah, I mean, that Hathor was too much for Hong to handle there. Really, Hong had a firm standing in the match there, a really decent chance, but the turn of events, the proc, and also landing it, that was just too dirty.
Yeah, and now you can let everyone stay asleep and start working the Fran down, and you're just so fast, you're proccing all over the place. The Verit is speeding you up, the Vigor is speeding you up. everything looking terrible now for Hong. This Fran goes down. I don't know that there's much hope left here. It is looking super good for Mr. Chung.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at a match where Sierra cannot shut down Vertihal anymore because VeloJewel was somehow able to get enough turns before Oki can even get his second turn, really. Showing why Vertihal is such a strong unit when it's not shut down.
Yeah, absolutely. It just isn't going well now, and that's going to be it. It is going to be Mr. Chung running the table and taking the day. Doesn't drop a single game and moves on to the APAC Regionals.
Yep, he takes out Despair God without taking a single Despair stun, so that's good on Mr. Chung.
He played so well here. I mean, that Baird, so useful for him. Great picks with the Vigor and the Hathor. Just really shutting down everything he saw Hong wanted to do. He even forced Hong to leave that Molly comfort pick because it just wasn't working.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that Hong decided to switch it up. He knew that the Molly was not working into Vertihal, and it's kind of the reason why he lost the game 1. So he did try something very smart. Unfortunately for him, though, when Hathor's proccing and there's a Vertihal and Hathor's landing on your fire, well, things are probably going to end bad for you.
Yeah, it's so strong when she gets going, and there you go. 2 O's down the road for Mr. Chung. And congratulations to him. He moves on to the APAC Regionals. Hong gets defeated, but he will be your final boss tomorrow. And there you can see the elite company that Mr. Chung will be joining, the likes of Shiki, Tanaka, Tsubasa, Charmy, Skit, and the others. Here is your bracket for tomorrow, as all these players do have another shot. COCOUNT versus CLEFAIRY, then Stan versus How to start the day. Those guys face Richard or GAIA next. And then the winners of all those play each other. And then at the end, they all get to go up against Hong, who has a good shot to still make it to the APAC Regionals. Just getting here is a really nice accomplishment for him. And he just ran into the buzzsaw of Mr. Chung today.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of really interesting matches today. It didn't really feel too bland because I feel like every single match we came across, a player was trying out a different strategy, as we have another non-bland code. I know people don't like the energy as much as the scrolls, right?
Yeah, exactly. This time you're getting some nice stuff, some scrolls and some summoning stones there. And this one, the 777 at the end, is kind of like a whoa from like our Chinese-speaking players, so fans, and so that's kind of like a wow, like, hey, good job.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking like Vegas or something, luck, but
the tableau, like, yeah.
Yeah, tableau is 777. But I like the number spam; it's fun.
But you don't want to get 7s if you're tableau. That's the unlucky number for him if he gets it. The other, you want to get higher or lower than 7. If you get the 7, then it's bad. So I don't know.
This guy knows summoners were better than me.
I don't think that's true at all. That's not even a
you
little
got a
bit true.
textbook brain there. All I know about Tableau.
I really like Tableau. I don't know. I spent a lot of time reading about him, and now I really want him. But so that is going to do it for today in a way. Mr. Chung, again, moves on. And, again, all these players still have another shot. So if one of your favorites didn't win here today, you still have a chance. And it's going to be really interesting. I mean, Mr. Chung just reading his opponent so well all the way through. Can't say enough about that. I mean, just running the table 2-0s down the line is really hard to do. Like, I don't care who you are. It's really hard to do.
Yeah, and I feel like he's done it in many different fashions. He's shown a lot of versatility as far as team comps go, as well as adapting to his opponent's draft, and I feel like that's where his main strength stands.
Yeah, absolutely. A key to success, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place, for the Losers Bracket. We'll see you then.